Back to the hometown, I-10 westbound. Show 'em what I'm talking about. Show 'em like this. It's that 225. It's that 318. That 504. That overdrive. Little pond, big fish. One shot, don't miss. Heard it like this before. Back to the dance floor.
Hey, you want to take a picture by the car?
No, thank you. Who are you talking to? Because I know it ain't me.
Tried it.
Oh, Hello, everybody. Good morning. How are you doing this fine Tuesday? I'm doing it quite well. Okay, let's get right into it because the judge is mad. The judge is mad. He's angry. He's got some girl. I don't even know. Don't listen. I don't even know what's going on with this hair. I was trying to like let it become more like in its natural state. We might be going back to not natural state because girl. Okay. Anyway, so good morning. Judge is mad. Judge is mad. Albie said he is going to, or they are going to have a horrible separation anxiety once this is over. I know. What are y'all going to do all day? What am I going to do all day? Okay. Let's see. Good morning to the cousins. Okay. So let me just pull up, what do we have? NBC News first, because that's where I did read it. So let me just show y'all this because I know it's on here. Okay. We can go back and do these recap things, but let's start here. 56 minutes ago, court is now in session, marking day 25. Now it's only 9:15. They started court at 8:18. Okay. Because every single morning they have to come through and do, arguments about stuff. And usually it's like, Diddy's side acting like, making a big mountain out of a molehill, acting like they need a mistrial because somebody, took a breath in the wrong direction. But girl, the judge is very mad this morning. Look at this. 25 minutes ago, judge rebukes. Oh, hold on. Let me get my rebuking bell. Why isn't it doing right? There we go. Judge rebukes prosecution and defense. So he's not only just cussing out in judge terms, right? He's not only just cussing out Diddy's team. He's cussing the prosecutors out too. He's mad. Court opened this morning with the judge asking the prosecution and the defense about an online article that appeared to include details from a sealed proceeding. And look, listen, Your Honor, don't have so much sealed stuff because, I said it in my video. I put 2 videos out yesterday after my live, and one of them was about this TMZ article because there was this TMZ article that was like telling us more than we even got from the reporting from inside of the courtroom. It was like a TMZ exclusive. Now, I don't know if that's what this judge is talking about. Hopefully we will get more details on which exact article it is. I don't think he says it in this particular reporting from NBC News. But look, court opened this morning with the judge asking the prosecution and the defense about an online article that appeared to include details from a sealed proceeding. The judge was livid. He asked both sides if they knew the article's source. He said, quote, someone is lying. The transcript was sealed. Somebody's lying, the judge said. One or more people who were here Friday in this courtroom flagrantly violated this court's orders, a violation of the court's sealing order. But it wasn't just that, the judge goes on. Ooh, he's mad. The court imposed a gag order on the government, on Diddy, and all attorneys for Diddy, and anyone else involved was also made accountable, he said. Violation of the order, what happened here, may result in criminal or civil contempt charges for all involved. The judge warned Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey and lead counsel for the defense, Mark Agnifilo, quote, "There is no passing the buck anymore. The buck stops with you. If anything happens, lead counsel is responsible." I wonder if it was freaking Mark Garagos. Prosecutors could rest their case tomorrow. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey revealed that the government will likely rest their case against Diddy tomorrow, but it could go into Friday morning. Mark Agnifilo said the defense would present its case in 2 to 5 days, but the timing is not set in stone. Okay, y'all. So Diddy is only going to need 2 to 5 days. It's probably going to end up depending on who actually comes forward to testify for him and stuff like that. It's not, sir. It's not giving. It's not giving. It's actually, in fact, it's taking. Okay. A jury charge could come next week, the judge said. Y'all. Wait, what's the jury charge? Is that where they give the jury it was probably Mark. I know. It's probably Mark Agnifilo to TMZ. If I had to guess, that's what it was. What is a jury charge? I think it's the jury instructions. Like you tell the jury what to do. Yeah. Look. If I had to guess, I'm not a betting person, but if I were and I had to guess, I would bet on Diddy, Teeny, and TMZ. That's who I would, not Diddy. I would bet on Mark. I would bet on Teeny Garagos, Mark Garagos, and TMZ. Mark was on there Friday, VP said. So it might be Mark Agnifilo. I mean, Mark, not Agnifilo. What's his name? Mark Garagos. Girl. Anyway, okay. Yeah, no, he seems like a slippery, slimy snake. So look, jury charge, also known as jury instructions, is a set of directions given to a jury by a judge before they begin their deliberations in a case. These instructions explain the relevant laws, summarize the case, and guide the jury how to apply the facts or the law to the facts they've heard. Okay, so the judge said that those jury instructions, the jury could start their deliberations as early as next week. Now, the jury, so we're getting a little bit of context, a little more information on that situation with juror number 6, who was dismissed, who we already know was dismissed. It says, this is NBC News. Jury was told that juror 6 was excused not to discuss the matter amongst themselves. Yesterday, Diddy's lawyer, Alexandra Shapiro, asked the court what he told the other jurors about why juror 6 was suddenly gone off the panel. The judge said the other jurors were told that juror number 6 was excused. They were also told not to discuss the case or the issue amongst themselves. The other issue with juror number 7, so now we're getting which juror they have another issue with, juror number 7. So we're 6 and 7 sitting right next to each other. That's what I want to know. The issue with juror number 7 is going to be dealt with today after court. They said that yesterday, girl, and it wasn't dealt with. So now I'm suspicious. I'll believe it when I see it. We have another new update from NBC. Brendan Paul, which I suspected, pleads the 5th and he receives immunity. So he's not going to be able to be prosecuted federally for anything that he testifies to today. He took the stand to invoke his 5th Amendment right against self-incrimination before taking the stand. Later today, he was granted an immunity order, which requires him to tell the truth to protect himself from prosecution. Let's go to Inner City Press. I want to see what he has to say about them getting in trouble for the article. 9:02 a.m. The jury was still not brought in. Second juror issue, question mark. Anything before we bring the jurors in, the judge said. Agnifilo said, let's bring in Diddy. The judge said, I believe your client would like 10 minutes to review the materials. Agnifilo said, can I ask him that question? Mr. Combs waives his right to be present for the immunity application. Let's proceed then. So Diddy's still in the back doing something. So did he not talk about? Yeah, I guess Inner City Press wasn't in there yet. Mr. Combs, so Diddy's in the back looking at some notes, and it's time for court to get started. But he has the right to be present for all material aspects of his trial, et cetera, et cetera. He has the right to confront his accusers, all that. And so he had the right to be in there when Brendan Paul came in and did the I plead the fifth thing. Well, Diddy wasn't finished reading whatever he was reading. And so Mark Agnifilo is like, Diddy waives his right to be present for this. So y'all can get the show on the road because he still wants to read and review what he was reading and reviewing. Okay, great, cool. Judge says, let's proceed then. Brendan Paul takes the stand. First question, did you receive a subpoena? Yes. Do you intend to invoke your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination? Yes. So the government said, we propose the immunity order. The judge said, I will enter it. Thank you, Mr. Paul. Diddy is brought in. We're ready to proceed. Let's have the agent come back. She comes back, takes the stand. All rise. Let me get my gavel. Court is now in session. Honorable Judge Subramanian presiding. And I want to see what else other people are saying about this leaking information. Buck stops with you. Like, I need to know. I need to know what was said. And Inner City Press didn't write it. I guess he probably wasn't in court yet. It did start early today, like 8:15. Okay. Good morning. Let's get back to the London Hotel. Now, this is still the direct examination. This is the second summary witness. We had a first summary witness go yesterday. That was really, I think, for the RICO charges. Now, this summary witness, I think, is also helping with getting placing some of the RICO charges, but also the interstate transportation of people for the purposes of institution. I think that's really what this witness is really about today, and she started yesterday. So let's get back to the London Hotel. Who stayed there this day? Diddy, Cassie, and a man by the name of Jules Theodore. Okay, what are these American Express charges? This is a Virgin America plane ticket. That's what the Amex charges are. All right, let's go back to NBC. Special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office has returned to the witness stand this morning. She did not work on the Diddy investigation, but she reviewed evidence in the case. She testified yesterday. She started testifying yesterday, and she went into travel records for Diddy, Cassie, and at least one S worker. That's that Jules character. The former couple frequently employed Jules. This testimony appears to bolster the government's case for the transportation to engage in institution, like I said. Now, this is one of the 3 charges that Diddy is facing. So every day, we got to have our Tanea. Got to have the Tanea article. It's definitely every single day. It's got to come up. Who's who of the trial. Of course, now we got to show that Kanye showed up. Is that all the updates? Come on. None of y'all are going to say the judge was flashing out on the jury. On the parties. Okay, let me go pull up my other sources. I have Washington Post. I have NBC. What about CNN, aren't they usually live? Yeah. Okay, let's see who else. Okay. Let's go to CNN. Okay. An hour 19 minutes ago, another one of Diddy's former assistants is expected to testify. Special Agent Delessa Penland with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York will continue direct examination this morning. The prosecution indicated that Brendan Paul, one of Diddy's former assistants, will invoke his Fifth Amendment right Tuesday morning. He'll be testifying under an immunity order. And then he's going to testify next. The judge was on the bench an hour, 10 minutes ago. Okay, here we go. 36 minutes ago, judge reprimands lawyers over article that revealed details of a sealed court proceeding. The judge reprimanded defense attorneys and prosecutors this morning over an article that he said revealed details of a sealed proceeding that was held Friday. He said, well, someone's lying, after lawyers from both sides said they didn't know who could have leaked the information. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo said he learned of the article when the government sent it to the defense yesterday. Okay, so the government sent it to the defense yesterday, and he's like, oh, I just learned about it, Mark Agnifilo. But Mark Agnifilo might not have any idea what's going on, but the judge doesn't care. He's like, well, you're still going to be held responsible for it. He said he just learned of it when the government sent it to them yesterday. One or more people in this courtroom, this is what the judge said, this is a quote. One or more people in this courtroom or the designated people who were here on Friday flagrantly violated this court's orders. The judge said he was going to be investigating, and he threatened to punish any violations, citing his order that threatens punishment as severe as criminal contempt. Imagine Mark Garagos gets put in jail for this. Again, y'all, innocent until proven guilty. I don't know if it was Mark Garagos, but he's the one who has like the TMZ connects. So I'm just assuming. The judge said he would be investigating. He threatened to punish anyone because the judge warned both sides that he would seize their devices and compel people to testify under oath if any other violations occur. I think it was TMZ. It was an article from Friday, though. No, sealed proceeding Friday. I bet you it was that TMZ article. I made a video about it. I was like fighting off a migraine. I was so just tired and not feeling good. And I was like, I have to talk about this because we're getting more information from TMZ than we got from the court. Here's what the other jurors were told about the dismissal of juror number 6. Yesterday, defense attorney Alexander Shapiro asked the judge what the other jurors were told about juror number 6. Today, the judge said the other jurors were told that the juror was excused, that they couldn't discuss the circumstances around it, and the jurors were not allowed to discuss it amongst themselves either. The judge told the parties that they would handle another separate issue with juror number 7 at the end of today. They're probably going to remove him or her too. Okay. Prosecutors say they could rest their case as soon as tomorrow. Now, we already did read this on the NBC and I think maybe a Washington Post. No, just NBC. But I do want to still read it because who knows, what could be new here. Prosecutors say they could rest their case as soon as tomorrow. Likely rest their case tomorrow, but it could possibly spill into Friday morning. Then Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, estimated that their case would take somewhere between 2 and 5 trial days. They said they're still making some adjustments. The judge noted that they could be looking at charging the jury sometime next week, meaning telling them, Diddy could be guilty or innocent next week, y'all. The jury, Agnifilo agreed. So it's going to be done way before July 4th. That was their original, we have to be done before the 4th of July holiday. We need to be done before that. Diddy's assistant or former assistant invokes his Fifth Amendment. Now, I've been waiting to hear anything from this guy for a long time. Brendan Paul. He was the alleged so-called substance mule, if you know what I mean, if you remember what I'm talking about. And he invoked the Fifth Amendment on today. The jury was not present for that. And so because he invoked his Fifth Amendment, he said, my right to remain silent. I'm going to be remaining silent. Thank you. The judge was like, no, you definitely have to testify, but we will give you immunity. He is expected to take the stand today. 14 minutes ago, the jury was entering. Testimony will resume shortly. So it already did resume, but we're just catching up on CNN. Delessa Penland, special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, is expected to continue testifying in the criminal trial of Diddy. Takes the stand. Okay. Let's go to the Independent and see if they said anything about it. So far this morning, the thing I'm the most interested in is the judge fussing at everybody. Okay, let's just start from the beginning of this Independence coverage. This is from an hour ago. The court is supposed to hear from the alleged rug mule, and another juror could be dismissed. Today's first witness is likely to be the returning, who is expected to conclude her testimony today. And then we're going to hear from the substance mule, Brendan Paul. The government has said it expects to wrap up its case against Diddy by the middle of the week. So that's tomorrow. So we could be done with the government's case tomorrow. On Monday, the judge dismissed juror number 6 after he came under scrutiny from prosecutors last week over an alleged lack of candor with the court. The fate of another juror who might have spoken improperly about the case was left in the balance. We can get a ruling on that today, too. Now, the judge said he would handle that this afternoon, but yesterday afternoon, and it didn't happen, so we'll see. Trial shown video of freak-offs and texts about substance purchases. Jurors were shown videos of freak-offs for the first time on Monday. Okay, so they just saw the first freak-off videos ever yesterday. I thought they had been seen it. Maybe they had just only seen still shots of it. While the panel has previously heard audio recordings and seen still images of these meetings, yesterday marked the first time that the jurors watched clips of the freak-offs. They watched the footage after hearing weeks of testimony about these encounters in intensive detail, from planning them, assistants buying baby oil and Astro, you know what, women coordinating with escorts, the cash transactions, his ex-girlfriend's feelings about them, and how the encounters were recorded. But oddly, the jurors appeared almost desensitized, barely reacting to the clips at all. What to expect today? Well, we're going to finish up Agent Penland's testimony and then connect the dots between flight records, hotel stays, text messages, and they all seem to correspond to freak-offs. Then we're going to hear from Brendan Paul, whose testimony should take us through the end of the day. 27 minutes ago, the judge begins by lambasting defense and prosecution. The judge opened Tuesday's proceeding with a warning to both the prosecution and the defense after a reporter seemingly published information that was supposed to remain under seal. The judge was furious and threatened to initiate a formal investigation into the matter to determine how information that was under seal had been leaked to the press. Someone is lying, the judge said. The transcript was sealed. It's unclear what article the judge was referring to exactly or who published it, and that's because it's all super secret off the record. They've been writing letters to each other and the judge without the public's involvement. The agent, Penland, on the stand, back to the stand to testify about the investigation into Diddy. Okay, that's all we got there. We got an update from CNN. Jury sees records for flight and hotel reservations made for an escort. The jury saw records for flight and hotel reservations for an escort named Jules to travel from LA to New York City in August 2009. Paid for on Diddy's American Express, the jury also saw text messages between Jules and Cassie, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, in which she thanks him and sends the escort flight info for his flight home. The special agent is on the stand now. Look at all this probable spam, y'all. Look at all the bots. That's crazy. On one tweet. Look, it keeps going. Look at that. Real time. In real time, look at this. It's not even letting me pull up all of that on one tweet. Look at that. Look at that. So the most recent tweet was still this one right here, all rise. Good morning. Let's get back to the London hotel. Who stayed there this day? Diddy, Cassie, and Jules. What are these Amex charges? American Express charges. Virgin America plane ticket for Jules Theodore. That's the most recent tweet there. Okay, Washington Post finally is talking about, I knew the detail queens were going to be on it. Shayna Jacobs 8 minutes ago, Washington Post. The judge grilled the parties about potentially leaked information published in a news article before testimony kicked off Tuesday morning. Both teams of lawyers denied leaking the sealed details. First on the stand will be an agent who started testifying Monday about the logistics of Diddy's freak-offs, presenting evidence such as texts, flight records, and hotel bills. Diddy's former assistant, Brendan Paul, is expected to testify later in the day. He was called into the courtroom briefly a few moments ago to be granted immunity. Diddy decided he didn't need to be in the room for that immunity proceeding. Okay, 1 minute ago, travel charges. This is NBCnews.com. Travel charges for S worker included on credit card paid for by Diddy. An S worker's round trip travel from LA to New York in August 2009 appears to have been paid for by Diddy, according to Penland's testimony. Prosecutor Emily Johnson had Penland testify to records showing Jules Theodore's travel, including flights, hotel paid for by an American Express card. The special agent testified that it was Diddy's credit card, and those charges were included in his September 2009 card payment. Cassie previously testified that Jules was an escort she and Diddy often employed to have relations with during freak-offs early in their relationship. Agent Penland on the stand, Special Agent Delessa Penland, is back on the stand to testify about evidence collected in Diddy's investigation. She didn't work on the investigation, but she reviewed evidence to make sure, she fact-check everything. I want to look at the docket and see if anything hit the docket about that article. I really do think it's TMZ article, and I think it's Mark Garagos, and I think his daughter, Teeny Garagos, told him. Or did he? So this is really aggravating because look, you're finally getting stuff from May. It is June 17th. It is June 17th. These people are supposed to file at the end of the week each week. They're supposed to file what they, all these super secret things. They're supposed to be made public. And when they're made public, they're not supposed to be all redacted and stuff. They're supposed to be, like very, very, very minimally redacted because they've had freaking all this time to do something about it. Well, here we are, June 17th, and we're just getting stuff on the docket right now from May 28th. This is stuff for freaking Kid Cudi. This is not acceptable. I don't think this is even constitutional. It's very, very, very infuriating. And violates the judge's order. The judge literally made an order. So what? He's not going to hold people to this order? Okay, we got another tweet from Inner City Press. The most recent was, what are these Amex charges? And the special agent is like, Virgin America plane ticket for Jules Theodore. Okay, what airline is associated with this charge? American Airlines, from JFK in New York to LA, Los Angeles, California. And what about the hotel? Four Seasons for Clayton Howard, aka Dave. Oh, Clayton Howard got pulled up in this thing recently. I think this is one of the people that Diddy was like, oh, let's get his book. He's working on a tell-all book. A diary, a journal, some notes, whatever. We want his book. Now, I don't know what the judge ended up deciding on that. Like, can they keep the book? Is the book coming into evidence or not? I really don't know. Hold on. I really don't know if the book's coming in or not, to be honest. I don't know if the judge even ended up deciding. Girl, please. Okay. Let's look at Exhibit 6T-108. What is this? A travel invoice for Bad Boy Entertainment. And what is this? That's a flight for Jules Theodore. And what was the payment method? It was Diddy's American Express. Okay, and whose name is the invoice in? Mr. Philip Pines. Now, this is interesting because this is one of Diddy's aliases that he would use to book hotel rooms, but this is also one of the people that's now suing Diddy that was also a former personal assistant or something like that. So this is also one of the people suing Diddy. Philip Pines. So this is a hotel. Remember they had that expert come in here and say, did Diddy sometimes book hotels under the name Philip Pines and in the Oprah system or the Oprah system or whatever? And they were like, yeah. And it was like, oh my gosh, what a scandal that he did Philip Pines. And now he's getting sued by Philip Pines, and he would also use Philip Pines' name to like book rooms. Now, Mark Agnifilo and Brian Steele and them are going to be like, well, the reason is because, Diddy's so famous. He's so famous that, we just needed to use a fake name. There's nothing wrong with that. Celebrities do this all the time. And so what's the big problem or whatever? And what was that charge for? It was for $500 of damages to the drapes. So that's when they got oil all over the drapes or something. More oil. I think we already read this one. NBC. Travel charges for S worker were included on the credit card. And also, so what are the things that I told y'all they're going to be trying to show? Commercial purpose, think, cash register sound, and also across state lines. Why? Because they need to show interstate commerce. It got to be across state lines, and it's got to be for a commercial purpose. Yeah. So what do we have? We have NBC, Washington Post, CNN, The Independent. Who else do we usually look at? I'm drawing a blank here. Yes, the alternate jurors are in the courtroom. Shout out to Marie B becoming a new member. Thanks so much to Brittany being a member for 2 months. Curious, do you know how the backup jurors gets the case info from prior trial info to deliberate if they have to fill in? I from what I understand, Brittany, they get the information because they're in the courtroom just like the regular jurors, and they sit there just like basically all of them sit there the whole time with the understanding that they could be called in to be a juror at any moment. So from what I understand, the alternates are sitting there just as much as the regular jurors, and they're, taking their notes, and they're, doing everything they're supposed to be doing over there. So from what I understand, they're just like basically exactly like, I don't know if you ever like heard of like an understudy or whatever in like theater, but there will be like a main person that does the role. And then what if they get, laryngitis or something? Well, there's somebody that's right there that knows every single line, every single word, every single note, and they can jump right in. That's kind of like what this is from my understanding. Oh, yeah, we did do Fox before. Let me try that out. Sometimes they're not doing it. They don't seem to have begun that today. I don't know if they're going to be doing it at all, but they haven't started it yet. The Mirror UK isn't doing it either. So I did want to tell y'all, I'm wearing my They Lied hoodie today. I think this is a large. I'm in that era right now, but these do run like a little bit bigger. Like, they're kind of like a little cozier, a little bit baggy. Not like, I wouldn't go so far as to say they're oversized, but like just ever so slightly. So yeah, here we go. This is where you can get it. ThatSurpriseWitness.com. Now we are limited. We have limited sizes left on the tank top. The hoodie, once it's gone, it's gone. And I think we have a few more of the bags left too. It is a very cozy hoodie. I like it. I don't see anyone else doing the live Diddy updates yet. We have the Independent. Let's see. USA Today, but they don't really actually ever really be it's not like USA Today isn't like real live. It's just like random updates from whenever they feel like. All right, let's just head on over back to, shout out to Mims in the chat. If she's in a large era, I'm in my 4X era, New York, then put some weight on me. Listen, Mims. Shout out to Mims. If y'all don't know, if you somehow don't know, Mims has been going to court, not every single day, but like a lot of the days. And in my mind, he's my cousin. I don't know if he claims me or not, but in my mind, that's my cousin because we both have this, Louisiana connection and all that. That's my cousin out here trying to get the truth to the people. It's okay if you don't claim me, Mims. I understand. Shout out to Mims in the chat. I don't know who is Jen Just Law. What is that? One of these days I'm gonna send Mims a link and he's gonna come over here and answer y'all's questions about these jurors. Mims, you saw the judge was fussing this morning about somebody leaking information, sealed information. Okay, what is this? Okay, so the most recent tweet we read was this. It's just, they're just going through exhibits. Like, it's literally like, what's this? What's this? What's this? Like a 2-year-old, like, what's this? And then the person sitting there, the special agent, is like, it's a credit card charge. What's this? It's a whatever. Like, who paid for this? Diddy, Amex. What was the payment method? Diddy, Amex. Whose name is on the invoice? Mr. Philip Pines. $500 charge for damage to drapes. What's this? 1 minute ago, another tweet. This is a booking for the Intercontinental Hotel in Times Square. So not the Intercontinental Hotel that where Cassie got beat up. It's the different location. This one is in Times Square in the name of Frank Black. Whoa. What about this charge? Damage to penthouse. $46,000. I got to retweet this, y'all. Breaking. Diddy trial news. Diddy, how do you spell racked up? Is it R-A-C-K-E-D? Is that right? Racked up over $46,000 of damage. This makes it look so much more. I always do that like that if I want to make it look like I want to make it look like it's like so much, because you could just do like 46K, but like how this looks like so much money. I'll give y'all that one. I had to pay tuition to learn that. I'll give y'all that one for free. $46,000 in hotel damages. Presumably from his freak off, aka hotel nights activities. Frank Black. We have another new update from CNN. Okay, Diddy's hotel bill for Dave paid with 5 bank accounts? What? Oh my Lord, girl. This is like me in college at the grocery store trying to get my weekly provisions. Okay, like, okay, can you do $10 in cash, $5 on this card? They got a gift card for Delessa Penland, a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, walked the jury through records related to September 2014 hotel stays in L.A. The records included charges on Diddy's American Express credit card for a round-trip flight from New York City to L.A. for a man named or referred to as, quote, Dave. Hotel records showed the reservation was made under the name Ely Maroon with Christina Karam listed as the contact. So Ellie Maroon. Ellie. I don't know how to say that. It looked like Ely. The card on file belonged to Diddy, but the records also indicate that the guest later requested an additional room be added to the reservation. The credit card statement with those charges was paid off by 5 different bank accounts, including some linked to Bad Boy. So there was a credit card statement with charges, and then, you know, like when you're paying your credit card bill, you can like pay from like this bank account or another bank account. Maybe you got 2, maybe you want to pay out of your, I don't know really exactly how it works, like your savings or whatever. Like you can take different accounts. Well, so there's this big bill, and then like 5 different bank accounts come in to pay off the charges, which does make sense. Like just in and of itself doesn't mean that this is a bad thing. In fact, you maybe even would expect that. Finance girlies and guys in the chat, let me know. But I think I remember, hearing this as well along the trial. And I think this is perfectly like expected and acceptable and appropriate, where it's like you use your business card to like just pay for stuff because you're out and about. But then, maybe one thing would have been for one business, right? Like maybe one was like paying advertising or marketing, to run some ads on a certain thing for a certain client. Or maybe one was getting your studio fixed, and the studio is owned by Bad Boy. So Bad Boy is supposed to pay that part of the credit. Like you're just swiping the card. I think that's fine as long as it doesn't like end up commingled in a bank account. Like the credit card you can swipe as long as it's accounted for. Somebody with the finance knowledge, let me know. But I think like in and of itself, like having a credit card that you use for business expenses, but then you have different business bank accounts that pay for those expenses, I think that's fine. But here, what they're really trying to show is Diddy was using this Bad Boy Entertainment and Combs Enterprises as wallets for his racketeering conspiracy, racketeering predicate type of acts, where it's like he was committing crimes and using his company's money. That's what I think they're trying to show in here. You can get my merchandise at ThatSurpriseWitness.com. ThatSurpriseWitness.com. It also, I think, is linked. Like if you're watching on the app, I think it's below down here. Shout out to Mims. Did he say anything else? Is he still in here? I ran him off on accident. Shout out to Mims in the chats. Oh, Tisa said that the defense had leaked it. Listen, if I had to guess, I would say it was them, but I don't know. I wasn't in that room. 2 minutes ago, we have an update from CNN. Jury sees records of hotel room damage fees. $46,000, y'all. You could get a single wide for that. I mean, last time I checked, you could get a whole single wide for $46,000. Or they're not calling it a single wide no more, y'all. They calling it mini home, tiny home. You could probably get a tiny home from Amazon shipped, delivered for $46,000. The jury saw hotel records detailing various hotel room damage fees that Diddy paid. One hotel in Beverly Hills charged $500 for drape and carpet damage. Diddy's American Express card was used to pay a 2015 hotel invoice, listing $950 for linen damage and deep cleaning. And then in October 2012, Diddy's American Express paid the Intercontinental New York Times Square $46,786 for penthouse damage. The name Frank Black was listed on that hotel portfolio. The card on file belonged to Diddy. The records indicated that the guest later requested an additional room. 5 different bank accounts. Somebody said you can. Yes, you can. You could get a single wide for that, y'all. You could get a whole single wide. Thanks so much, silently screaming from a crowded room for the $2. Yes, I did. I currently have an investigation going into Mark Leta's mysteriously, suddenly passing away girlfriend. It's very strange. Thanks so much to Michael for the $5 Australian. Have I ever visited Australia? No, I haven't, but I think I would like to. Thank you for that $5 Australian. Thank you to No for the $1.99. Shout out to Mims. Yes, and BJ reporting baddies. Thank you so much for that $1.99. Thanks so much, New Life Plan, for the $4.99. We got a little bit of an answer here. Those are probably just allocations, like who owned each account. We would need to see the allocations to make sure no commingling was done. Okay, interesting. Thank you for that $4.99 and for answering. Yeah, they call it tiny homes now, y'all. They used to just call it a single wide and a double wide, where I'm from. Yeah, she was 22 years old and he just happened to walk in on her. The child's diaper needed to be changed. It was, something's not sitting right with me about it, but I haven't had the chance to investigate fully. So I don't really want to make any comments. Like, I don't know anything more than y'all. I actually know less than probably a lot of y'all. So we get kind of the same thing again reported from the Independent, but we kind of get it in a different way. And I think it helps to understand a little better. Penland, the special agent that's testifying right now, says records show Diddy's company paid for S worker to travel. Flight hotel records show male S workers, travel. Those records get to the heart of the government's transportation for restitution purposes charge. Okay, so they already laid out the RICO with the previous witness, Ms. Sankar. Now there's the transportation for prostitution purposes charge. The special agent testified that flight records from 2009 indicate Bad Boy Entertainment paid for the round trip for Jules. And this was a flight, again, interstate from New York to LA. So like across the whole country, not just one state either, like from New York to LA, from New York, he traveled and then to LA. Okay, this was Jules Theodore. Hotel records show that Diddy's credit card was charged for the stay. Another hotel record showed a stay for Clayton Howard, who was known to Diddy and Cassie as Dave. Okay, this is Dave. Okay, so now we're getting some text messages. Jury, oh no, they call it a manufactured condominium now. Oh my Lord, what are y'all doing in Alabama? Y'all are doing it up over the Huntsville. Manufactured condominium. Girl, it's a single wide, please. Pink files with Rhea wants to act like they different. Just because y'all want to be classist, don't mean it ain't still a single wide. All right. If you can put it on the back of an 18-wheeler and drive it down the highway, it's a trailer. All right. I just because y'all want to act like y'all are too good to live in a trailer, don't mean it ain't a trailer. Argue with your mama, don't argue with me. Mississippi's doing it too. Manufactured condominiums. If you can put it on the back of an 18-wheeler and drive it down the road, that's a trailer. Y'all can call it what you want. Call it your mother-in-law suite. Call it your pod. They calling them pods. It's a trailer. Stop. Y'all are showing your classism. Elitist. They're not the same. They're not the same thing, y'all. Okay, girl. Whatever you say. Whatever helps you sleep in your trailer better at night, girl. Jury sees messages between... And listen, that's no tea, no shade. I grew up in a trailer. That's how I know what they are. I remember seeing it come down the highway. We had a double wide, though. So... Woo! Jury sees messages between Diddy and a contact. So Diddy's texting somebody called NY Strip, everybody. The jury saw messages between Diddy and a contact called NY Strip a couple of days before the December 2009 hotel stay. Diddy's texted repeatedly, trying to set up a time for massage. In quotes. They put massage in quotes. Can you let me know if there's a problem so I have time to get another present? Later in the conversation, they both asked each other if they were cops. I don't think the cops have to tell you the truth. I think they could say no. What's the rule behind that? Somebody tell me. NY Strip. He's like, come give me a massage. Need my massage. Shout out to Huntsville. Listen, y'all. Y'all can argue with your mom. I already told you. If you can hook it up to the back of a 18-wheeler and drive down the road, that's a trailer. I'm willing to call it a mobile home. That's fine. I'm willing to call it a mobile home. Tiny home, girl, please. It's a shed or a trailer. Shout out to Lirpa for becoming a member. Yeah, no, the tornadoes will pick them things up and go. But they can withstand. I'll tell you what, the trailers can withstand a hurricane. Category like 4, easy. If you build them right and you got the right foundation. Tyreek said, really, the truth is it depends on the state. Oh, it depends on the state. Tyreek said it depends on the state. What about feds? Yeah, it's either a shed or a trailer. It's tiny home. It's a shed, exactly. It's a shed. It's a shed or a trailer. Y'all can argue with your mama. Okay. So $46,000 is the most recent tweet that we did read. And what's the charge? It is a hotel in Riverhead. That's in Long Island. Is that where the Hamptons is? Yes. Okay, what about these communications? Oh, those are between Diddy and Cassie. Diddy and Cassie. So it's just a bunch of different little evidence that they're going through. Because why? Why are they going through this? Because there's these summary charts. Yeah, it's the moms, the snooty moms that wants to be too good to say they live in a trailer. It's always them snooty ones, okay? It's a shed or a trailer. Argue with your mama, don't argue with me. Chill Murray's not lying. He ain't lying. Some of them looks better than houses. It's true. It's true. I gotta look up. Oh my God, they not letting the trailers move in no more. Are they in the chat? Are they in the chat? Oh, so my page said she lives 25 minutes from Riverhead. Okay. I want to look up. I think I remember learning in law school the cops doesn't have to tell you if they a cop if you ask. Do cops have to tell you if they are a cop? No. They don't. I'm telling y'all, it doesn't even help to ask if someone's a cop. This is the AI overview. This is not legal advice. Take it with a grain of salt, get your own lawyer or whatever. This is just AI. I'm reading it online. I have a vague memory of learning, like, the cops don't have to tell you if they cops, even if you ask. Police officers, including plain clothes or undercover officers, are generally not required to identify themselves when asked, unless they're performing official duties like issuing a citation or making an arrest. They can even lie about their identity to perform their duties, such as in undercover operations. So, yep, that's exactly, Jess. You can look up their badge number if they're wearing one. Yeah, they're allowed to lie, girl. My search history is, I know, it must be insane. I must be. But don't worry. I stay on the up and up. I don't be searching nothing bad. Actually, sometimes people send me stuff that I think I'm not supposed to have, and I'll delete it. They'll add me to group chats with nasty stuff in it. I leave immediately. It's like always like tippy-toeing around trying to get set up out here. But like, y'all see me. I don't like to look at that nasty stuff. Somebody sent me evidence of Cassie, what appeared to be. It could have been fake. They got real good with AI now. But somebody months ago, maybe last year, sent me pictures and a link to buy like what appeared to be. I didn't watch them. I didn't know. So I don't know. I didn't buy it, obviously. So I don't know what I actually got, or who clicks on this link would have bought it, what I actually got. But there were pictures, still shots of what appeared to be, again, it could be AI, appeared to be Cassie in, we'll say perhaps a freak off situation. I don't really know. But I remember thinking, like, this is so sinister that someone is doing this. So I took a screenshot of the page and I like edited the picture to scribble over because I don't want to just be like assaulted with that imagery. But then after a few days, I was like, why do I even want to have that on my phone? Like, if the feds ain't going to do nothing about it, like, what am I going to do about it? And I got so convicted, I deleted it. So but it's nasty out here what they sharing around. Again, that could have been fake. It could have been AI. And it's like at least 50% it was, because it was probably trying to make Cassie feel scared that stuff was going to get leaked of her. Again, like, I blurred it out even in my camera roll. Like, I did the edit and I scratched it out, but then I was just like, I'm just going to delete it. It just freaked me out. And then one time somebody sent me what appeared to be that type of images and videos of one of my ops, Lima Yevremovich. Again, could have been, and I suspect this one actually was AI. But I believe that it was a trap to get me to share it so they could say I was doing some type of revenge porn. Well, girl, you're not going to get me, because I don't do that. I don't care how much I don't like somebody. I'm not doing that. Please. Again, I don't think it was her. I actually think it was either someone who just kind of looked like her, or it was a AI situation, but I don't think it was her. So just before anybody says I'm spreading rumors, I really don't believe it was her, and I never did. I think it was a setup. Okay, anyway, what's this? Next question. This is a call from Diddy to Cassie, 41 seconds long. Okay, let's read this. What does it say? It says Skylar can come later. Let's do Skylar. Then Skylar responds to Cassie. Go to slide 4, please. Skylar texts Cassie. And he said, I'm laying head down. Hit me up if we are getting together. What do these boxes show? Shows 3 photos taken by Cassie. What day is this? March 6th, 2016. This is the day. We're at the day of the Intercontinental Hotel incident, everybody. Tanya, is it Tanya or Tania? Thank you so much for the super chat. You can become a member. I think if you're on iPhone, you can't do it on the phone. You have to do it on the desktop. Thank you for that super chat. Okay. So we're on the date. We're on the date of the Intercontinental Hotel incident. Okay. 3 photos. What are these boxes? These are 3 pictures taken by Cassie. What day is it? It's the day of the Intercontinental Hotel incident. Walk us through. Okay. The agent says, Diddy calls Cassie. No answer. All right, we'll wait for the next one here. We have a new update on NBC. 16 minutes ago, hotels charged Diddy's businesses thousands for damage to rooms. According to receipts shown through Special Agent Penland, hotels charged Diddy's businesses thousands of dollars for damage to their rooms after his traveling party checked out. Traveling party checked out? What does that mean? The Beverly Hills Hotel billed Diddy $500 for damage to drapes and carpets, and the Hermitage Hotel $950 for deep cleaning. But the most eye-popping big ticket bill shown today came from the Intercontinental Hotel, and that one was not the same one as the one in LA. This one was the one in New York. That one charged Diddy $46,000, $46,786 for penthouse damage, October 5th, 2012. So this is not the date of the Cassie incident. This isn't even the same place as the Cassie incident. It's just owned by the same hotel, the Intercontinental. Oh, Shayna done took down her. Remember Shayna had put up Remember Shayna Jacobs had put up that article about the judge had fussed at everybody? Oh no, she still did. It's still up. It was just not showing when I first refreshed. There it goes. Diddy paid more than $45,000 in hotel damages. Jurors are well aware at this point that freak-offs often caused widespread damage to hotels. But they're once again seeing some massive charges for those damages. In 2012, the Intercontinental Hotel in New York charged Diddy $46,786 for penthouse damages. In 2015, he had $950 for linen damages. And remember this Hermitage Hotel? Someone came, that Frederick Zimor, he came to testify about it. And then that other lady, I don't remember her name, but somebody from the Beverly Hills Hotel also came to testify about it. So this was all kind of like building, don't try to deny it, Diddy. This is your account. Okay, so then next, Cassie says, I checked with security. Jules left. You're good as long as you don't bother the other guests. So this is all the day of the Intercontinental Hotel issue with Cassie and Diddy. This was the March 6, 2016. We saw the video of it and all of that, the leaked CNN footage. So that's this date. What is this day? That day. Walk us through. Okay. Diddy called Cassie. There was no answer. Then Cassie texted Diddy. She says, I checked with security. Jules is gone, and you're good too, as long as you don't bother anybody else. Then there were more unanswered calls. What does Diddy text to Cassie? He says, call me. The cops are here. And then a call actually connects. Cassie then calls who? None other than D-Rock. And then the call goes through. But then Diddy calls Cassie, no answer. So Cassie's calling D-Rock saying, whatever, can you go check on him or whatever? And then she's in touch with D-Rock, but she's not in touch with Diddy. Oh, Mims did say it was TMZ. Okay, so Mims did say it was TMZ in the chat. I missed that, but someone did make me aware in my texts. So Mims confirmed it was TMZ. Glad I'm a fan. Hi from Australia. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Minette Bell. Miss Leah asks, is the juror that got dismissed free to speak publicly since he was already released? I don't know. I do not know. I've been wondering myself. If he's free to speak, only after the trial is over. Is he still under some type of protective order or a gag order? I don't know. I do not know. Thank you for that $4.99. Thank you, Carrie Lee, for the $2. Girl. Love you, mean it. Like an aunt. Thanks. Okay. All right. Shout out to the aunts in the chat. Shout out to the aunts. Shout out to the cousins. Thank you for that $2 super chats. I don't know if Patricia's saying, I think you can, but it has to be after the trial is over. Naomi said, TMZ, all eyes on Garagos. Seriously, I wish that the judge would actually do all of us a favor that we've all been wanting to see happen since 2005 and investigate. TMZ is Diddy's mouthpiece. Yep. In my opinion. Okay. So Cassie calls D-Rock. It goes through, but then Diddy tries to call Cassie. No answer. And what day is this? The day before or the day of? Okay, so I guess it happened March 5th through March 6th. So March 5th is when it started. And then March 6th, it's still going on and they're still doing calls. Cassie asks, you are sick. Oh, no, she texts to Diddy. You are sick to think it is okay to do what you have done. Please stay far away from me. I have a premiere. What does Diddy then text back? He texts, call me, help. Then he texts, help me. I'm about to be arrested. Oh, he's such a narcissist. Then you pick up, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, girl. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not qualified to diagnose anybody, especially somebody I've never been around and hope to never be around. But help me. I got diagnosed with cancer. Like, don't we all know somebody like that? I got a cancer diagnosis and I need your help. You're the only one who can help me. You should have thought about that. You should have thought about that. Help. The police are here when you were dragging Cassie down the hall, stupid. And then he says, if you don't pick up, you'll never hear my voice again. Then what? Call not answered. Then KK starts calling Cassie. So there's the threats. The cops are arresting me. Pick up. Help me. Help you? Who was helping Cassie when you were dragging her down the hall and kicking her and throwing stuff at her? But Cassie is in touch with D-Rock, and she is in touch with, it seems, KK. At least KK is trying to reach out to her. I don't know if she actually answered. Okay, we got 2 new updates from Washington Post. The jurors are being shown timeline charts. Good. Illustrating texts and calls between Diddy, Cassie, and others. This is probably a way for prosecutors to summarize certain key dates and to make it easier for the jury to visualize chats surrounding certain events. So what is this for? At least according to what Shayna Jacobs believes, it's a way for prosecutors to summarize certain key aspects, certain key dates. So all the activity happening around big dates, like the Intercontinental Hotel issue. And to make it easier for the jury to visualize chats surrounding certain events. So this person texting this person, texting that person. Flashback to Monday, Juror 6 was dismissed. Yesterday started with some drama when the judge excused Juror number 6, saying the man had irreparably damaged his credibility by giving conflicting accounts about where he lived. The juror, a 41-year-old who works at a correctional facility, this is the one that was already dismissed, Juror 6. Now, we did find out today, we get confirmation today that Juror 7 is the other juror they're having issues with. Works at a correctional facility, told the court during jury selection he lived in the Bronx with his fiance and daughter, but after an offhand comment to a jury service staffer and further questioning by the judge, it was revealed that his girlfriend and daughter actually live in New Jersey, and sometimes he lives with his aunt in the Bronx. The juror also gave differing answers as to which home was his primary residence. The judge was initially poised to dismiss the juror Friday afternoon, but the defense pushed back against losing a black juror. The record raised serious concerns as to the juror's candor, the judge said in his ruling yesterday, adding that it was concerning that the juror appeared to be shading his answers to try and remain on the jury, a big red flag for the court, just in general. The judge also noted the defense's own words back to it, that this jury was already among the most diverse to ever serve in the district. Juror 6 has been replaced by an alternate. New update from CNN 1 minute ago. Photos show Ventura, that's Cassie, with a swollen lip after the 2016 Intercontinental Hotel altercation. Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson is presenting a timeline of records related to the March 2016 altercation at the Intercontinental between Diddy and Cassie. The records include text messages, calls, and photos, beginning with Cassie asking about an escort's availability on March 4th. Okay, so this is what they're doing. Okay, on March 4th, she's talking to the escort. Do you have time? Do you have time? The timeline also shows that Diddy made 8 consecutive calls to Cassie around 11:28 in the morning, all of which went unanswered. This evidence also includes photos of Cassie with a swollen lip, wearing sunglasses, taken at 11:35 in the morning. Okay, so 11:28 a.m., Diddy makes 8 calls. Then 7 minutes later, there's a picture. Cassie takes a picture of her injuries. The jury has previously seen these photos when Cassie testified that she took them in her car after leaving the hotel. We have a new update from Washington Post 2 minutes ago. Quote, "Call me, the cops are here." Diddy texted Cassie on the day he punched, kicked, and dragged her in the hallway of an LA hotel March 2016. The jury is viewing such texts in a timeline chart. This allows the prosecution to package the voluminous mobile phone evidence in this trial in a more understandable way. Yeah, something happened with R. Kelly, girl. But that's not really why we're here today, is it? I'll have to look into that later. So this is the most recent Intercity Press tweet. What does Diddy text Cassie? He says, "Call me, help." Then he texts again, "Help me. I'm about to be arrested." Honestly, good. He should have been arrested for that. He should have been arrested. So if somebody's like, "Call me, help," no, you need to go to jail. Bye. And then he texts, "If you don't pick up, you're never going to hear my voice again." Oh, I gotta sneeze. And then he calls again and she don't answer. She's like, "I don't want to hear your voice again." Crusty voice, crust it, dust it, bust it. Then when she don't answer, then KK starts calling. Again, this is a little bit of a sprinkling of the RICO enterprise. I believe they're trying to establish, KK being part of it. I think. And that's what it appears to me. Let me search Judge let's see. Judge something Diddy trial lawyers leak. Judge angry Diddy. No, looks like yeah, and like don't forget this too. Like it's an ad playing right now, but Mark Garrigo's mom on Diddy Judge scolding for 6-pack of white women jab. Mark Garrigos and Harvey Levin sound like an old married couple bickering over what really went down in chambers with the judge in the Diddy case. Okay, so bickering over what really went down in chambers. They were talking about stuff going down in chambers, which is supposed to be like, sealed stuff all the way back in, when was this? Let me see. Hold on.
Has been sympathetic to lawyers and said, look, especially defense lawyers, you have a constitutional right to defend your client. On the other hand, when prosecutors go out and allegedly pollute the jury pool, the defense has to have a right to go out and speak as well, because the only people.
Whatever. The judge has already fussed at this guy for the 6-pack of white women comment. After a 2016 hotel assault, this is NBC News just now updated. Phone records show Diddy demanded Cassie return. A panicked Diddy called and texted Cassie to come back in the wake of his videotaped beating of her at the LA hotel. At an LA hotel in 2016, phone records admitted into evidence show. Diddy told Cassie that officers were on their way to arrest him, though that was a lie. That was not true. That was fake. That wasn't true. No one called the police that day. I'm about to be arrested, he texted Cassie before calling her 5 times in 22 minutes, and she didn't answer. Okay, so the last tweet we read from Inner City Press was that, that one, help me, help me, help me, I'm getting arrested, lies, lies, lies. Then when that didn't work, he switches to a different altar that's just threatening. I'm never going to talk to you again. Like after he beat the literal out of her, she's leaving. She left to get some space from him. He's blowing her phone up. He's saying, come back here or I'm never going to talk to you again. You're never going to hear my voice again. Then she don't answer, and then KK calls Cassie. Here, Cassie calls D-Rock. Then Cassie calls KK back. The calls do connect. What does D-Rock text? D-Rock texts, quote, tell him to get out of there before they arrest him. He not picking up. Then what does Cassie text to Diddy? She said, going to bed. Deal with your own crap. Because Cassie did also call the hotel and talk to the security, and they said nobody is coming up here to pick him up. That's fake news. Like, he's fine as long as he leaves everybody alone. Seems like it might be moving a little slow, just like as far as like actual updates. Update multitasking. SDNY Judge Subramanian laid down the law in an Americans with Disabilities Act case. Yeah, no, they've been pushing him to his limits. He threatened somebody with sanctions yesterday. Look, this is after the Diddy court let out yesterday. This poor judge, he's on all kind of cases. After Diddy court let out yesterday, he had to threaten other people. He said, at today's conference, the defendants are ordered to show cause why they shouldn't be sanctioned for failure to participate in good faith in the court's sponsored mediation and to follow the court's orders concerning preparation of the joint pretrial filings. But that was a different case. Oh, man. I'm ready for Brendan Paul to take the stand. I'll tell you that. I was just checking the docket. Mark is too smart. They had Diddy's son do it, but then how would it have gotten to Diddy's son? It still had to be somebody in that room. So Mark Agnifilo was in there. I know the lead counsel of both. I wonder if people aren't taking this order seriously because he's young and they think he's soft. I don't know. Diddy will extend the trial just to be able to see the FO videos again. Doubt it. This is funny. Rosa said Diddy being in the other room before they started this morning. I was just watching Tisa's live. She was in there for the beginning. Diddy insisted on getting to watch the freak off videos that the jury saw. Diddy wants to see the freak off videos. He's nasty. He is nasty. How did the judge find out? Are you asking how did the judge find out about the article, the TMZ article? I think the feds made him aware of it. I think the feds made him aware of it after they emailed Diddy counsel. He requested it earlier, they said. Ew. He is so nasty. He is just disgusting, in my opinion. Why would you want to see that? Oh my God, y'all. Diddy was in there watching freak off tapes this morning. Stop. Work on your business. Thank you for the 20 euros. Tisa Tells was live this morning. P. Diddy requested to see the tapes of yesterday. The judge approved it, but Diddy's lawyers are responsible to make sure none of it gets out. Maybe that's why he was busy when Brendan came in. He would much rather watch a freak off tape than somebody plead the fifth. Thanks so much for that 20 euros. Yeah, now the robing room is going to have to be cleaned out after Diddy was watching that. That is so sick. It's serial killer behavior. I mean, he's not alleged of that, but it is kind of like just this nasty. I think he's got an addiction, unfortunately, to this depraved SUL stuff. Okay, now moving on to the next tweet. Carrie Morgan. Remember, this is Cassie's former best friend. Carrie Morgan writes, I don't think anyone should call her. And then there's a photo of a Los Angeles Police Department detective business card. Then what? Okay, the agent says, then D-Rock and KK each call Cassie. So D-Rock calls Cassie, KK calls Cassie, and then KK asks, what is Eddie's last name? Eddie Garcia. KK asks, what is Eddie's last name? Because why? What did Eddie Garcia testify to? This was the guard at the Intercontinental Hotel. He testified that KK showed up, somehow found his personal phone number and called him to basically like try and pay him off, all of that. So you have a text message from KK to Cassie. What is Eddie's last name? So they're already trying to cover up what happened to Cassie. Again, Cassie is the victim here, alleged. And I mean, Diddy, I think victim, because Diddy did admit to, being sorry for his behavior in that apology video or whatever. But KK is calling the victim to get the name of the person that they're going to pay off to cover up the crime against the victim, alleged. Innocent until proven guilty. Diddy repeatedly called and texted Cassie after the 2016 hotel altercation. 3 times around 11:36 a.m., but she didn't answer, and she called him back twice shortly after, and each call lasted about 1 minute. Diddy then called her back 3 more times with no answer and texted, call now. Cassie said, I went and checked everything and spoke to security. Jules left, so you're good as long as you don't disturb the other guests. They'll leave you be. Diddy called her twice again shortly after, and she didn't answer. He then texted, call me now, and then call me, the cops are here. So just a straight up lie, just not true, just a lie. Which could be considered fraud. I don't know. Diddy called her 3 more times at 12:08, shortly after sending the message. The first call lasted 18 seconds, but the other 2 were not answered. Then 1 minute later, Cassie called D-Rock for 22 seconds. So Diddy calls 3 times. So he sends a message, call me now, the cops are here. Then he calls 3 times. The first call, she actually answers. It lasts 18 seconds. She's probably like, they said no cops are there. Stop lying to me. I'm going to bed. I have a premiere. She hangs up. And then 2 more calls. Oh, God. Then 2 more calls. Diddy calls to Cassie and she don't answer. But 1 minute later, she does call D-Rock and then talks to D-Rock for 22 seconds. So total between these, 5 minutes, there's 4 calls. 3 of them is Diddy calling Cassie. She don't answer. 2 of them. 1 of them she answers. 18 seconds on the phone. Then she calls D-Rock and they're on the phone for 22 seconds, like 1 minute later. He texts Cassie, "You gonna abandon me all alone?" He called her again twice. No answer. "Call me, please," he texted her at 12:10 p.m. She said, quote, "I have a premiere Monday for the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. I have a black eye and a fat lip. It was time for me to go. You are sick for thinking it's okay to do what you've done. Please stay far away from me." Both Diddy and D-Rock then tried to call Cassie after that message, but she didn't answer. Cassie then called D-Rock back and they were on the phone for less than 2 minutes. Then again, "Call me, help," Diddy again. Y'all, this is harassment. In my opinion, innocent till proven guilty. I don't know. I wasn't there. Diddy called Cassie multiple times over the next 10 minutes, with Cassie answering 1 time for 34 seconds. During that time, Cassie also did call D-Rock as well over the next 10 minutes. So there's just phone calls flying back and forth. D-Rock here and a P. Diddy there and a Cassie here and a call me there and a help me here and a here, there, everywhere. Blah, blah. Just, it's a circus. Again, he's texting, "I'm about to be arrested." How could he know from 12:08 to 12, "I'm about to be arrested. Thanks." Oh, what an abusive, manipulative piece of what. "I'm about to be arrested. Thanks." You're saying this to the person you just physically, violently assaulted and who ran away from you, who's clearly demonstrating she don't want to talk to you, and now threatening that they're going to be the reason that you get arrested. Yes, you should get arrested. You're freaking welcome. Go. And I won't be bailing you out, lunatic. Thanks. You should have thought about that before you did a crime, stupid ass. He then calls her again. None of this is true, y'all. "Thanks, I'm about to be arrested." No, you're not. That's the sick part about the whole thing is he's never, ever was about to be arrested. No one ever planned to hold this man accountable. I'm actually still in shock that they're doing it here. I'm going to be super surprised if he gets convicted. I'm shocked that they've made it this far. Truly. I will be surprised if he gets convicted. I don't see it happening. Not because the prosecution didn't make their case, but because P. Diddy is above the law. And these jurors are going to make sure it happens. Juror 6 seemed to be dead set on it. Thank God he got removed. But that wasn't enough. The thanks, like blaming Cassie again, this is like truly victim blaming gets thrown around. This term gets thrown around like any and everything all day, all the time these days. But like, "I'm about to be arrested. Thanks," is literally and legitimately blaming a victim for doing something that you did. You should have gotten arrested that day. He should have went under the jail that day. He then texted her again when that didn't work. The lies. He hit her with another lie, but it was a different type of threat. "If you don't pick up, you will never hear." He spelled "hear" wrong. He can't spell. Illiterate. Stupid. "You'll never hear my voice again." And look, listen, you could be illiterate all day. You could be illiterate all day. But when you illiterate and threatening somebody, I'm making fun of you. Sorry. Diddy called Cassie 5 more times in the next half hour. None of them were answered. KK also called Cassie. That wasn't answered either. This is just disturbing. It's disturbing. Look, Diddy was infuriated at Cassie for leaving the hotel after he beat her in 2016. She previously testified this happened when she tried to leave a freak off. In a subsequent text message shown to the jury, Diddy told Cassie he was about to be arrested, which was a lie. "Thanks," he added. These texts aren't new. The jury already saw them, but they're now being presented. But they are now being represented as prosecutors emphasize their narrative in what might be the last week of the government's case. This is the last week. This is the last week. Oh, it aggravates me. I just can't stand a bully, and I cannot stand a manipulative abuser. I just can't. I'm allergic to. I got an allergy. Okay. So the most recent tweet that we read from Inner City Press was Carrie Morgan said, I don't think anyone should call her, so leave her alone. Cassie's best friend is like, leave Cassie alone. Then there's a photo of the detective's business card. Remember somehow the cops got called? Then D-Rock and KK are trying to call Cassie. KK says, what's Eddie's last name? Then what does D-Rock text to Diddy? D-Rock says, Cassie is good. She's eating breakfast. Then there's a 13-minute phone call, which is Diddy to Cassie. All right. And then there's another text here from Deontay Nash, which is the stylist that we heard from earlier in the trial. He said, what time can you today? Arturo is available 3 or 4. Cassie said, Rock's place. So I don't know what that is, if it's makeup or what. Okay. So CNN now, we just read the NBC one, I think. So now we have CNN 1 minute ago, also taking their interpretation, giving their interpretation of the evidence that's been presented the last few minutes. Timeline shows flurry of calls and texts after 2016 hotel altercation. The timeline of records related to the March 2016 altercation at the Intercontinental details a flurry of calls and texts between Diddy, Cassie, Christina Karam, and D-Rock. So Christina Karam is the former chief of staff, and D-Rock is the former security guard. He goes by D-Rock. Okay. Cassie texts KK at like 2:30 p.m. saying, this is crazy. He won't stop. Please tell him the neighbors are about to call the police. KK responds that she got him and they were going down in the elevator. Then D-Rock. Okay, so first we have Cassie to KK. Okay, so victim to chief of staff, 2:30. And it all started at 11:30, remember? So this is hours later. This is crazy. He won't stop. Please tell him the neighbors are about to call the police. And they did. They did call the police. That's how we ended up getting that detective information. Then KK responds, she got him. They're going to go down in the elevator. So KK, chief of staff, comes pick up and collects Diddy, and they go. Then D-Rock, the chief of security, texts that same chief of staff saying, tell him he needs to get out of there before they call the police. Okay. So Cassie's saying they're going to call the police. D-Rock is telling KK they're going to call the police. Cassie and her former best friend, Carrie Morgan, both testified that Diddy went to Cassie's apartment after the hotel incident. Cassie texted KK, please take away whatever keys he thinks he has. And this reminds me of Mark Leta being able to just let himself into his girlfriend's apartments. I mean, it's just interesting. I'm not saying it's a crime. All right. Christina Karam texts D-Rock, so the head of staff, the chief of staff texts the security guard. She got Diddy back to his LA home around 3 p.m. So about 30 minutes after Cassie texted her, get him out of here before we call the cops. After more unanswered calls from Diddy to Cassie, KK texted her back, talk to him. He promised me he won't go back over if you will just talk to him for 5 minutes. Again, it's just 5 minutes of talking to the man who mercilessly beat you, kicked you, dragged you, pulled your hair, gave you a black eye, gave you a black busted lip, made you sleep with another man against your will just now. You were trying to run down the hall and he viciously, violently assaulted you. And all I'm just asking is just a 5-minute phone call. And if you do that, then he won't come harass you. But if you don't, just give him 5 minutes, an excruciatingly long time with somebody that's just about to gaslight you. Sorry, don't want to be in the middle. Just don't want him to go back over. This is a threat, okay? This is a threat, Christina. Talk to your abuser who just mercilessly beat the out of you, or else he's coming back to your house. And then they put it in these words to make it seem like, wait, but they're being nice. They're saying sorry. They're saying they just want 5 minutes. It's only just simply 5 minutes. No. When you get the feeling that you don't want to do it, just remember my voice in your head saying, I don't have to. I don't feel like it. And I don't work for you. Okay. Now, if it's your boss, maybe you might have to do it. Okay. Or quit the job. But you don't have to just do shit. All right. How about you don't have to just do a damn thing? Not nothing, not 5 minutes, not 1 minute, not 30 seconds. And if you show up at my house, I'm calling the police. So do that if you want to let him know. If he shows up to my house, I'm calling the police. I'm not talking to nobody. I'm not talking to nobody. Goodbye. Bitch. You're allowed to take back control and power of things, even if you never ever did it before. Next tweet. Then Diddy calls Eddie Garcia, the hotel security guard. The angel, Eddie, my angel. Garcia calls him back. Then what's Cassie do? She texts. This was supposed to be a big day for me. Now, I wish I could just stay in bed because of what you put me through. What about here? Here's Diddy cleaning up the mess, calling the security guard, trying to get that tape, trying to cover up his crime, in my opinion. I am. It aggravates me because these freaking men and women will manipulate people that they know are good and kind-hearted people. And they will manipulate and exploit, in my opinion, the tendency of good-hearted people to be amenable, to be cooperative. No, you don't have to cooperate with somebody that just beat your ass. You don't have to. And if they're at your door beating on it, call the cops. Call the cops. I ain't even a call the cops person, but I'm calling them. I'm going live. I'm going on live right now. If somebody's showing up in my, you should have just thought about that when you was just beating my ass down the hall, is what you should have just. Tuh. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Except, follow the law. But to talking to somebody just 5 minutes, you talk to him for 5 minutes if it's such a small ask, bitch. You talk to him for 5 minutes. If it ain't such a big deal, must be a pretty big deal if I got 5 grown adults blow me up for the last 3. Leave me alone. But you're allowed to say, leave me alone, everybody. You're allowed to, even if you never said it before, even if you let them get used to that, even if you blame yourself for things, you could still say, don't call me again, or I'm going to get a restraining order against you. And I'm telling everybody, and I'm calling your mom and telling her what you're doing too. You can tell somebody to leave you alone and you can block their number. Okay, next question. What's this? A photo of Eddie Garcia's driver's license found on KK's phone. What's this? Okay, so now we're on March 9th. So this was all on the 6th. The 5th and the 6th is when all that happened. So on March 9th, what happens? Diddy calls Eddie, my angel, Garcia, the security guard. And then what about on March 25th? So this is about 20 days later after the incident. Then that's when Diddy again follows up, circles back up with Eddie Garcia, calls him back. Eddie, my angel, happy Easter. If you ever need anything, you can call me. Then Eddie Garcia did need something. He called him for a job, and then Diddy ghosted him. Okay, other than these charts, did you have any involvement in this case? No further questions. They're going to take their mid-morning break. Nobody's updating nothing out here. Sometimes it's just, Post Jerome said Diddy and his whole team are a bunch of couillons. I know, they couillons. They are. French Fifi said, harassing phone calls are a trap for the victim. These types of people have to sweep everyone up into their tornado. It's crisis bonding. It is. And I think that's what's going on with the, I think that's what's going on with the Jones work PR people. It's like these crisis PR people think that they get to have so much more involvement in your life than they really need. And Kim Bates said, restraining order didn't help me with my ex. And you know what? It don't sometimes. However, the very last thing any abuser wants is to actually have it on paper that they are an abuser. So if they break it, at least there is something, at least look, if they're going to break it anyway, at least there's something they broke where they could get put in jail if they do it again. That isn't me saying that you deserved it or they should do that or you should expect it. Because a lot of times people have restraining order and they do stay away. A lot of times it really does work because they don't want to have it be in the paper that they are a domestic abuser. But I don't think it would have really probably worked for Diddy. He would have figured out some way to send somebody after Cassie anyway. But the last thing these people want is to be exposed for what they're doing. So that's why I say I'll go live. I'll go live. I'll record it. I'll send it to your mom. I'll call your mom. I'll call your dad. And at least it's on record, at least. Because once something goes on record enough, because guess what? Whenever Diddy showed up to court, how many times was Diddy's lawyers able to say, but you didn't call the police, did you? But you didn't file any reports, did you? Like eventually they will be able to do something, hopefully. And I understand this is wishful thinking, y'all, but like what made Diddy actually leave? Cassie texting KK, they're going to call the cops. And D-Rock texting KK, they're going to call the cops. Even Diddy, who is literally above the cops at that point, he left because the cops were getting called. So I'm just saying, y'all, I understand it's easy to think, nothing's going to happen, especially when you call on these hotlines and stuff. And sometimes nothing does happen to these people, but you got to at least make it energetically a showing that you are going to stand up for your boundaries and yourself. And if that means getting the law involved, oh, yes, I will. And it's not my fault if you get arrested, bitch. Get back to your place. Get away from me. Get away from me, or I'm going to call the police. And when you get arrested, you can thank me because I'm going to call the police because you are abusing me. Thanks. You're fucking welcome, bitch. That's what I would have said. You're welcome. Anytime, partner. Anytime, partner, is what I would have said. It pisses me off. It really does. Okay, 2 minutes ago, we got an update from CNN. I know y'all laughing. I never get this riled up. Just seeing it. Hot Mess said, love the commentary. I'm serious. I'm serious too. And I ain't joking. I mean every word. I mean every word. Reading it all together like that, just putting in your like, thanks. After I saw that video of him beating her in that hall, dragging her, throwing that stuff, danger, literally her life was in danger. That big vase could have hit her any kind of way and done anything to her. And she just simply wanted some space and she couldn't even freaking have that. It's a suffocating infringement upon other people's liberty and autonomy that I just can't tolerate. And it makes me feel like I'm suffocating. Ugh. This is not normal behaviors, y'all. If somebody's acting like this to you, it's not normal. It's not okay. Okay. If you needed to hear it, it's not normal behaviors. This isn't love. This is literally hatred. He hates her. He hates her. And I'm starting to think, does he wish he was a woman? I'm starting to think, does he wish he was a woman? I don't even mean that in like any type of messed up way, but it's like, I don't know what else could make you just simply hate women this much other than jealousy. Why does he hate women? And listen, y'all, how often do you hear me say stuff like that? I'm not even one of these like, oh, women power, men, women. No, I'll say all the time. Shout out to the good dads. Shout out to the strong men. Shout out to the good husbands, because we need y'all. We need y'all for the world to work. Okay. We need it for society to work. I'm not even one of these people that's like, oh, women are better in every way. No, we not. No, we not. So I'm not even one of the people. But whenever it's something like this, he hates women, in my opinion. It's the only explanation. It's the only explanation. 4 minutes ago, CNN. Diddy staff texted about damages and LAPD after hotel incident. See, they scared of the police a little bit, even somebody who's truly above the law, even they're scared of the police finding stuff out. Cassie and Ely, whoever that is, were on 2 calls starting around 5:30, right? This whole thing went down like 11:30 in the morning. So now they're like 5:30. Okay. 5:30 in the afternoon. There's 4 calls between Cassie and Diddy. At around 5:52, KK texted Maroon, I'm going to ask just, they love this word right here, just to cover damages. I'm just going to ask to cover damages. I'm just going to go over there and try to pay him off for just the damages. He wants to speak to the Spanish security guard. Now, if you will remember, the Spanish security guard was Israel Flores. It was not Eddie Garcia. Eddie Garcia was not there. Say they had a fun, drunk night. Fun. They had fun. This is what these sick freaks call fun. This is what they call party. Okay. This is like, we have to reclaim our language back, y'all. Everyone who shares the English language in common, everyone who speaks the English language, whether it's your first and only or 5th or 12th language, we have to reclaim our language back. Everything doesn't freaking mean everything, y'all. They did not have a fun drunk night. That is not true. That is not true. KK said, say they had a fun drunk night to try to get more info. He said, LOL, no shot. They are not playing nice. So Diddy and D-Rock, the former security guard, they both called Cassie several times then for the next hour between 6 and 7. Most of the calls were answered by Cassie. So now they have pulled, sucked, vacuumed Cassie in. They have vacuumed her back into their black hole after not even a few hours. She's answering every call. Oh, God, it's just exhausting. At 6:55, Carrie Morgan, which is Cassie's, former best friend, also texted KK a picture of a business card from LAPD. Basically saying, stop calling Cassie. I don't think anyone should call her. Then KK's like, can I call you in a little bit when you're alone? Can we talk behind Cassie's back? Don't anybody call Cassie. Here's the police that I'm going to call if you do. Oh, can I talk to you behind her back real quick? The best friend wrote, quote, Cassie was looking for anyone to say the wrong thing so she can call domestic abuse. Cash just asked me to send you that. So leave her alone. You have to threaten these people or they don't leave you alone. Oh my God, just suffocating. Just freaking suffocating. I pray, Lord, if you're listening, I pray, dear Lord, that the people who treat other people like this will learn in due course how it feels. Amen. Ventura, that's Cassie, then answered a call from the security. Then she answered another call. So they're just blowing her up. 7 p.m. From 5 something to 7, it's just call. Diddy's calling Cassie. D-Rock's calling Cassie. KK's calling Cassie. The friend is having to reach out. Can y'all leave her alone? Can she have 5 minutes? Can she have 1 day, please? Y'all, I'm telling you what, relationship advice with me, it's a red flag. If you get in a big fight with somebody, fights are normal. That's normal. That's not a red flag. Fights are normal. Disagreements are normal. Beating is not normal. Physical fights are not normal. Heated discussions can happen. I don't know. I don't have often, heated discussions personally, but that's fine. But if you can't say, look, listen, I love you, I care about you, I'm not going anywhere, but I just really need to have a break from this conversation, to have some time for myself today, and we can speak in the morning. If you're not able to do that, that's a red flag in your relationship. Whether it's your mama, whether it's your daddy, unless there's some other type of extenuating circumstances. But what I'm just telling you right now, you get in a big fight, a big knockdown, drag out, again, not violent, that's different. But if you can't simply just say, look, listen, I can't talk right now. I'm gonna have to talk to you about this at a later date, at a later moment. And then you could say tomorrow morning, let's talk tomorrow morning. I just need today. And you're not able to do that without somebody blowing you up, blowing you up, blowing you up, blowing you up. And you've told them, I'm not leaving, I'm not going anywhere, but I need just a moment. I need today to take, we had a big fight and I just need to think. That's a red flag. That is a red flag. In my opinion, 3 to 5 red flags and you need to go, because you endanger baby girl, baby boy. If somebody doesn't respect a boundary in one way, that is them telling on themselves. They don't respect your boundaries. So then what can they be capable of? These are red flags. If you needed to hear it out loud, somebody outside of your own head, yes, you should be able to take 20 hours after not ghosting, saying, I need to take this time. Okay, talk to you tomorrow. Then that is a red flag. That is a red flag. KK's around walking free. Yep. Yep. Yeah. And if things start to escalate, that's another red flag. I told y'all, get 3 to 5 of them. 3 to 5, and you need to get out of there. Shout out to Mims. Putting Diddy in an all-male prison is not a punishment. Stop. Stop. We need to put him in an all-female prison, because I guess he would actually really be suffering over there. It's so true. You're so right. You are so right. Thank you for the $4.99. That is true. It's the truth. He hates women, in my opinion. So then KK texts this other maroon. Did you get the security guard's number? P. Diddy is asking. No, wouldn't give it to me. What's Eddie's last name? Then 2 photos were recovered from Cassie's device, taken at 7 a.m. the next day. One of the photos appeared to be a picture of 2 men, and the other showed someone sitting on the couch. Okay, then Diddy texts the next day, how is she? Checking in on his asset. She's okay. She's eating breakfast. Her face don't look bad. She good. I'm reclaiming the English language. The face looked bad. She had a huge swollen lip, a busted lip, and she had a black eye. The face looked bad. It looked like she had been in a very violent physical altercation. So if D-Rock thinks that doesn't look bad, then I would really hate to see how he treats the women in his life. He said Cassie was smiling and laughing and suggested Diddy call her or call the house. The court took a break, which we already knew. Before the break, the jurors were shown a timeline of phone calls between Diddy and a hotel security guard who was paid off in March 2016 to help Diddy bury the video recording of his chilling assault on Cassie. In that footage, Diddy is seen punching, kicking, and dragging the singer and actress as she hurriedly tried to leave the hotel after a freak off in a nearby room. It makes me feel like trapped and stuck. I hate that feeling. Yes, relationship could be with your mom, your dad, your friends. You have to be able to say, I got to go. I'll talk to you later. I'm too worked up right now. It's not going to be productive. Oh my gosh, he's related to you? Yeah, I mean, what is this story? Can we get a DNA? Y'all, did y'all see there was like, okay, so in 2024, literally last year, there was this like ancestry thing that Diddy did, like to trade. He was on the same episode with LL Cool J. And LL Cool J, they did both sides of his parent lineage. They did like trace his mom's side back, trace his dad's side back. But with Diddy, they only did the dad's side, Melvin Combs. And I'm like, hold on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The one I was really interested in was Janice. They didn't even do the moms. They didn't even do the moms. Yeah, it's Michelle, narc behavior on steroids, and it's like totally unchecked because at any time that anybody would actually just be like calling his bluff, he wouldn't have been allowed to get this big and this powerful. But it's like completely unchecked. And I'm not talking about the victims. I am talking about the other people who were running like little rats, vermin, little rats to the hotel to pay off a guard, to see the footage. The little rats who were saying her face don't even look that bad. The rats, the punk ABs who called themselves security, who watched women getting violently beaten on private planes and did nothing. That is also who I'm talking about. Something else is happening with the juror. Nikki says, why wasn't the jury sequestered in such a high profile case? Much more is still going to happen. And the defense hasn't even put on their case. More chaos to come. I think it's probably because it's such a long trial. Like usually trials are like 2 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe. And this one's like, supposed to be 8. But now the judge can sequester at any moment, Nikki. So he may end up having to do it. Thanks so much for that $4.99. Shout out to Walk-In Dreamer for becoming a member. Christina Karam is in the chat. I'm sure not actually. We shall prevail. The fix is in. I wouldn't doubt it. Thank you for that $1.99. Thank you, Unnamed Unindicted, for the $2. Love and Assertive Queen. We don't work for you. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Here for this every day, especially today. BJ's making this slow day great. Now, can we please get Brendan on the stand? I mean, seriously. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Thanks so much, Red Vibes. Play with your mama, don't play with me. It's true. Don't. Just go over there and do that with your mama because she'll put up with it. I won't. That's not me. You can go to your mama's house for that. It's not here. Thank you for the $1.99. That's right, girl. Love from London. Yes. Thank you from Kayla for the £2 super chat. Shout out to Damien. Thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to Mims. I can't believe you said putting Diddy in an all-male prison isn't a punishment. Because it's true, in my opinion. Thank you for that $4.99. Thank you, Pink Aurora, for the $1.99. Can Diddy's witnesses plead the fifth too? I think so. I think they can. Thank you for that $1.99. No, it wasn't really. I think it was a parody. They're saying something's going on with that juror, but I didn't. Something new? I'm going to Google like juror 7 issue. No, I don't see anything recent. Can look at the Diddy docket again. The judge said he was going to deal with it at the end of the day today. So that's what I was assuming would happen. But then he said that yesterday too, and it didn't happen. just 5 minutes. I just talked to him for 5 minutes. Just trying to make sure he doesn't come over there and harass you and beat you again. Just. I'll never see that freaking just again. Because again, y'all, a lot of people say they use qualifiers in their language and stuff too. That's fine. Using qualifiers whenever it's actually what you mean is okay. That's okay. But whenever you're using qualifiers to be saying please for something that really isn't an option, call him back or he's coming over there, that's not an option. You have to call him back. So it's not just. It's a requirement and it's something you really don't want to do. That's not just. He really wants to talk to you is what it should have said. I can't stop him because he's a deranged lunatic, wild animal, raging, stark raving. Yes, I rebuke. Wait. Sometimes it don't ring right. Hold on. Literally, Lisa said, what course did I take in linguistics? It was actually like my concentration. So I took very many. I took very, 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 very many linguistics classes, like more linguistics classes than probably anything else. So there's a bunch of them. Green Dodgy. I wish I had a friend like you in high school. Don't think anyone would dare bully me then. Seriously, somebody tried to beat me up in high school too. Because she was bullying somebody else. This girl had crooked teeth and they were calling her kickstand, which I thought was very rude and mean because the girl was poor and couldn't afford braces and also had jacked up teeth at the time. And the girl with the messed up teeth is writing on the board. And I liked her. She was nice. I liked her. She had no problems with her. And then another girl that I liked and was really nice to me, she started to make fun of the girl who was writing on the board. This was in high school. And like my dad used to be the one that he was like very, like he would fight people. He was a fighter. Okay. So I was one of those like, don't start a fight, but you better finish it or whatever. But mostly like stand up for yourself. But then my mom would always say, if anybody ever hits you, just let them do it because I don't want you to get in trouble. And then we'll just call the cops or whatever. So you never really know what you're going to do until you're in a situation. But this girl at the front of the class is getting made fun of. She was writing on the board and they calling her kickstand. And everybody's laughing in there. And I went to like, Louisiana Public High School. Okay. And I was like, stop making fun of her or whatever to my friend. Like this girl that was making fun of her was also my friend. Like we never had any problems. And she's like, said something mean to me. Like, and that's why you still wearing your same hair since homecoming. And it was like, first of all, even if I was, my hair looked good at homecoming. Second of all, no, I wasn't. I had to wash that stuff out that night. I was like, bitch, at least I got hair. And y'all know everybody said, ooh, people were hitting on the desk with the pens. And I had to take my lick for that. And so this girl, I think I was 15 and she was like 17, or I was 13 and she was 16 or something like that. Like there was a large age difference between us. And this girl again was like my friend. She was my friend. I said, bitch, at least I got hair. Ooh. And then of course, she hit me so hard in the side of the head. I had the earring up here. The earring was stuck in my head. And she hit me with the biology book. I did this, covered my head. The teacher came in, stopped her. I stood up. I said, are you done? I went straight to the office and I said, I would like to press charges on fill in the blank name. Could you please call Sarge to the front office? My mama came to the school. My daddy came to the school. And guess what? She was on probation the next 3 years. So yeah, I had to take my lick, but bitch never looked at me in my eyes again. And I haven't forgotten. No, I haven't. I would do it again. And yes, my parents were proud of me for standing up for the girl. My mama might be in the chat. She could tell y'all. Don't say no names if you're in the chat. Don't say any names. Everybody in there went, ooh, because she didn't have no hair. She really, truly didn't have no hair. She needs to stop bleaching it. Yeah, the earring got stuck. It did. Sure did. All right, let's see if they're back in. No, I didn't want to hit her back, Harlem Romeo, because this is why. Because at my school, it was 0 tolerance. So if you would have hit back, then you would have to go to in-school suspension and have it on your permanent school record. And I just wasn't trying to do that. I just wasn't trying to do that. I just wasn't. And I was trying to go to law. I was trying to get up out of there. Okay. I personally wasn't trying to do school to prison pipeline. I was personally trying to opt out of the school to prison pipeline, which is kind of difficult. All right. So personally, yeah. Louisiana high school is probably just like Alabama high school, Mississippi, Georgia. I bet you it's the same. I bet you it's the same. But yeah, I sure did. I said, at least I got here, and I'm not sorry about it. I basically been doing this. This has basically been who I've been, this whole time, y'all. Nothing has changed. Standing up for the weaker people, even when it actually is to my own detriment. Telling y'all how Amanda Rabb died. God forbid I tell people how somebody really died. I got to go into $800,000 in legal bill debt or whatever. 6. I don't even know. I truly don't know. And I don't want to know right now until it's paid off. Okay, they're back from the break. The judge is on the bench and this same boring lady, but she's an important witness or whatever. I'm just ready for like the next phase. I'm ready for the next thing. She's back on the stand and the jury is entering. Bitch, at least I got here. And then somebody told me later on, she was like, well, she really did want to, every time she sees you in a hall, she want to beat you up. I said, but she don't though. But does she do it? Because I look at her square dead in the middle of her forehead and she ain't looking at me. So she must not want to do it too bad. Yeah, she had her friends packing to. Yeah, she was still mad. She still had wanted to beat you up every time she saw you. I said, well, she don't though. Is it because she's on probation and she'll go to jail for assault on a juvenile? Huh. I sure was. Can we move on? I know I want to move on, but it's just nothing's happening. How many kids in my graduating class? I think it was about 70. 70, depending on if you count the special ed kids that graduates like 5 times, which I think is sweet. I think it's sweet. I like it. If they're in high school and they're a senior, they get to graduate, but then they could stay there at our school. We had like the special ed program there. And then if they, like special ed, I'm not talking about like 504. I'm talking about like separate class, separate everything. They would graduate like 5 times. They would start graduating when they were 17. They would graduate when they was 18. They graduate when they're 19. They graduate when they're 20. And they just keep graduating. So if you count them, I don't exactly know like how many. I think there might have been a few of them in my class, 5, 7 of them. So I think about 70. There's about 70 people in my graduating class. 700 in yours? No. I went to school in the country. Oh, Lord. DeLeon said you're a real one. I know, y'all. That's how it happened. Yeah. Well, I was like, this is what it was, Nicole. It was she was like 16 or 17. Like she was a different age bracket. And I was like 14. I think I was 14 and she was 16. So that made it like such a big difference that she was on probation like the rest of the time of high school, I think. No, maybe 2 years. She was on probation for years. And if she would have did anything wrong, she would have been in trouble. And it's good because she was acting like a freaking lunatic. First of all, she shouldn't have been calling nobody kickstand because look at her, first of all. And second of all, whenever I simply asked, hey, why don't you just cut it out? Ha ha, he, kiki. She said, I'm still wearing a false statement. You still wearing that same hair from homecoming? I said, bitch, at least I got hair. Ooh, people were beating on the deck. Y'all, it was. Woo! That's how it happened. In my memory. Girl, I don't know. I got hit in the head real hard. Maybe I got a concussion. I did have to go to the I did go to the urgent care, girl, and have them check out my wound. I was like, I am bleeding. She hit me in the head and I am bleeding. Y'all, I've been knowing I was going to be a lawyer for a long time. AMLK said, BJ, you got timing. You remind me of Theo Vaughn. That's my cousin, I think. I don't know. We didn't do the blood test or nothing, but he's from Louisiana as well. So that would make sense. And I think both of us grew up in kind of like similar, like rural, kind of like very racially diverse. I grew up in very racially diverse background personally, because in Louisiana, they really, honestly, I'll tell y'all, at some level, it stops mattering what your race is because y'all just pour together in the trailer park. Okay. It stops mattering. It starts being like, all right, how can we help each other? How can we help each other? So very, 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 very racially diverse. She couldn't handle being called out. Her insecurities. Yep, it was very punkish. I mean, we were all kids. She was like a minor too at the end of the day. Y'all got BJ in rare form. And truly too, I'm sure like she had her own issues going on at home and stuff. I mean, everybody did. And all that. But no, I'm not saying there wasn't any racism. There was racism at the school for sure. But at some point it just kind of like we're all in that together at some point. Can I see your answers to the test? Because, I was working at my McDonald's job until whatever o'clock. Like, we were kind of just all in it together. To some extent, there's always the bad apples. But then after Katrina, we got a bunch of new kids from New Orleans. And that's really when it hit the fan over there at that high school. It went from being like a country high school to being like, none of us were ready for that. I mean, woo! But you know what? Those kids were going through it too. They were living in hotels and stuff. It was really bad. It was sad. Okay, the court is back. Jury's entering. So they're going to have Teeny Garagos questioning on the cross-examination of this Penland. Court returns. Jurors have returned. Penland is back on the stand. People are saying juror number 7 is kicked out. Is that true? Southeast Texas. Yeah, that's really close to Louisiana, right? Yeah, Southeast. Yeah, that's like probably my cousins over there. What is a border anyway? Not to exacerbate current political goings on, but shout out to Southeast Texas. I feel like that's the same as where I grew up. I feel like Southeast Texas is more like where I grew up than North Louisiana, if that makes sense. Juror 7 kicked out. I'm gonna Google it. I think somebody's doing the fake news in my chat. Or maybe something happened that I didn't know about and they didn't report on it yet. If y'all are saying Juror 7 kicked out, give me a source, give me a link. Shout out to Sheely. They say country is country wide. Oh, Patterson, Louisiana in the chat. Shout out to the Patterson, Louisiana. It was more urban. It was like city kids versus country kids kind of thing. And y'all, whenever they came, I remember this one girl came this one time and it was like all these fights going on. There was always these fights. And this one girl she took and it was like effortless. I was impressed actually. And I never messed with this girl ever. I was her friend. I would have never said nothing to her. I was scared of her. She lifted the lunch table and ripped the wheel off the lunch table like one motion, put the wheel in a sock, and was swinging it around in the fight. Okay. This was, okay, no. We went from riding tractors to school to like people in our school like this. It was like, she like bout it. I ain't messing with her. Oh my God. I graduated in 2008 from high school. We did play spades. I did learn how to play spades. I could play spades. I actually wanted to have a spades podcast where I like play spades with people. And you're not really playing spades unless somebody screams "sot." Okay, that is the past tense of set in spades. I don't know if y'all knew this or not. I had to earn that education. Sot. Okay, you're not really playing spades unless somebody says "sot." That's the past tense of set. How they try to divide us by race. We all knew. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Donna. I'm waiting for him to start doing something, y'all. Can we move on? I wish. I wish. Southeast Texas. So you're from Louisiana. Shout out, Nicole. You doing parole officer stuff? That's what you said? It used to take 4 hours to get to Dallas from West Monroe. That's where my dad was born. Life Lessons in Lions. My dad was born in Monroe or West Monroe, Louisiana. Katrina was hard on everybody. Yeah, no. I mean, it was really hard. It was hard. Iota. I know where Iota is. They got a lot of Pentecostals over there, huh? They what's it called? UPC. It was just different. It was just different. Just different. We were doing bonfires in cane fields. Okay. We were doing bonfires in cane fields. They were doing take the wheel off the lunch table. It was different. 337. Shout out to 337. No bullying. Yeah, no bullying. It was too much. It was too much. Yeah, that was somebody taught her that. Shout out to Ponchatoula. Shout out to Patterson and Opelousas. Yeah. Well, you know what, Coco? The city kids had no issues with us. They brought their ward rivalries to the school, so they had already existing like family, last name beefs, and I'm not gonna call it gangs because it strictly speaking wasn't gangs. They weren't in gangs, but like there's like a certain loyalty to your like ward or a certain loyalty to your like block or whatever. And so those kids already had pre-existing beef. So it was really all that's just the city kids. We were just sitting there like, eating our sugar cane. Like, whoosh, what are they doing? It was Orange is the New Black moment. It really was. It really was. I know. I want to have a Spades podcast. I told y'all. Shalmet in the chat. I'm trying to move on, y'all. I'm trying to move on. It's just nothing. No lies. Shout out to Covington. Shout out to the West Bank. There's a lot of Louisiana people in here. Wow. Rita got me too. You know what got me the worst? Gustav. Hurricane Gustav was the worst one for me. We didn't have electricity for like 2 weeks. I think about $2. Kill on Earth. Yeah, you don't have to please nobody. You don't have to please nobody. You don't have to do nothing you don't feel like doing. You get that little sick feeling like, oh, I don't want to, that nagging, like, oh, I don't feel like it. Don't do it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. Do keep your word though, y'all. Oh, that's so sweet. First responder flew out from PA to Louisiana to volunteer after Katrina. He still tells me stories. It was bad, y'all. Katrina didn't get me too bad. It was really New Orleans that got it. The worst, that area. Okay. We're back. Brittany said we went to the same high school. Okay. So here's Teeny. They're back. All rise. You've been at the Southern District of New York for 10 years. Teeny Gargo said. Yeah, said the lady. Okay, let's turn to this date. Did you know Cassie was in South Africa at this date? The lady's like, no. Okay, and December 8th through September 15th, you didn't try to find out who else was in this chat? And the lady's like, no. It's literally like my job. I'm not supposed to do that. And you're a special agent, aren't you? Yeah. And as a special agent, you know how to look for evidence, don't you? Objection, Your Honor. Her whole job was to not look for evidence. What the hell is Teeny Garagos talking about? Is this her first day of law school? Are we in trial advocacy? What is this? The judge is like, yeah, true. What the hell, Teeny? You can't ask that. Doesn't a special agent know how to look for evidence? Shut up, you stupid idiot. I'm so sick of these bad faith idiots, y'all. Her and her daddy. They go into hell, I think. It's just such a shame, but they going. And, you know, who leaked the stuff to TMZ? That's what I want to know. I'm just sick of it. They're like wasting everyone's time with this bull. Okay, what we know, this is good. 5 minutes ago, Washington Post. What we know about Brendan Paul, the former Combs assistant, soon to testify. Another former assistant to Diddy, Brendan Paul, is expected to testify later Tuesday. He has been mentioned in at least 3 assault complaints against Diddy. So those are those civil ones. So they've named Brendan Paul in those civil complaints too. He was arrested in connection with the Department of Homeland Security's raid of Diddy's Miami home last year. In a lawsuit, music producer Rodney Jones filed against Diddy. He alleged that Brendan Paul worked as Diddy's mule to acquire and distribute substances and pew-pew. Now, you know what else Lil Rod Jones alleged in his lawsuit that I haven't seen brought up at this trial? That somebody with the last name of G went into a bathroom with Diddy and one of his sons. I think it was Justin. I don't remember which one it was, to be honest. He got pew-pewed. He was, punctured with the pew-pew device and then bleeding out through the recording studio. He got picked up somehow, some way. I don't know exactly. I remember maybe it was an ambulance. Maybe it was a friend. I don't really know exactly. And then nobody ever saw him again. Nobody ever heard from him again. But a lot of stuff from Lil Rod's lawsuit has now ended up turning out to be kind of corroborated through the evidence we've seen in this trial. So I'm trying to figure out, what about G from Chalice Recording Studios? Put a G in the chat if you want to know. Shout out to Thibodaux, Louisiana in the chat. Yeah, I graduated in 2008. Okay, so then there was another lawsuit by Grace O. Markey, where Brendan Paul was also called a substance mule. Her lawsuit was also against Christian Combs. Now, Brendan Paul's lawyer, Brian Bieber. Wait. Who? Whoa. I've heard of him. Wait. Who is he represented? Does he represent? Oh, what does he represent? Does Brian Bieber represent? What's his name? Luigi Mangione? No. Brian Bieber. Maybe I've just seen his billboards. No, where have I seen this man before? I know Justin Bieber, same last name, but like, I specifically remember Brian Bieber. Anyway, that's Brendan Paul's lawyer. Where were we here? Denied all these allegations. A man named Monzaro Joseph also accused Brendan Paul of giving him substances. And Brendan Paul's lawyer said in a statement to the Washington Post, it was literally impossible to have occurred because Brendan was still in high school in Ohio at the time, never having even set foot in West Palm Beach in his life at the time of the incidents. But then on March 25th, 2024, last year, the day 2 of Diddy's homes were raided, Brendan Paul was arrested in Florida and charged with substance possession. The charges were later dropped after he completed a pretrial diversion program in December, according to public court records. So this is about 6 months ago. He finished his diversion program. I wonder if he got put in the Florida shuffle. No, I don't think this is true, lady. I think you have some incorrect information. I think that it is, he was taken away. He wasn't found unalived. Unless y'all know something. I don't know, but that's not what I heard. LBJ in chat. Nola, Treme girl here. Been asking the same question about G. Shout out to New Orleans. Shout out to the 504. Since last week when they announced they're going to be wrapping up this week, I'm wondering what, are we going to talk about G? Teeny she sucks. I wouldn't hire her. I would hire Brian Steele. I would definitely hire Nicole Westmoreland. They going to hell, but I would hire them. I would hire Mark Agnifilo too. He's not trustworthy or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't really, trust him for real, but I would trust him to get me off or whatever of the crime or whatever, especially because most likely I wouldn't have done whatever I'm accused of. But Teeny, no, I would not hire her. I would not hire her. In fact, and indeed, if she was working at the law firm I hired, I would say keep her off the cross-examination. I do not want her talking to anybody. She'll know how to do it. She's bad at it. Brian Bieber. Oh, yes. Thank you, Ro. That's what it was. Thank you. That is what it was. Brian Bieber was the lawyer for Michael Jeffries, the Abercrombie and Fitch CEO. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Whew. Thank you. Shout out to the best mods on YouTube. Indeed. Yeah, the Garagos thing, I mean, I want the judge to actually, I want him to do an investigation and charge somebody for something. It needs to happen. If not him, who? If not this judge, who? Okay. So here's Teeny. She's asking her questions on the cross 2 minutes ago. Let's turn to August 2009. Under the name Sean Combs, you included several United States exhibits. Let's pull one up. August 5th, 2009. Diddy says, "When do you want to freak off, LOL?" What does Cassie say? Cassie says, "I'm always ready to freak off." So we're just showing that Cassie said one time in 2009 that she's always ready to freak off. Okay. You really? Wow. What about 2016, Teeny? I'm going to just skip that. I'm going to skip 2016. We're just going to jump straight back, all the way back to more than 10 years ago. 9 years before their relationship finally ended. One time, Cassie said she was always ready to freak off. So Diddy had no reason to know ever again that she wasn't consenting. Duh. I mean, girl, please. Yeah. According to Teeny, people cannot change their minds. Brainwash and control is, well, it is evidence, but I don't think it's a defense. I am happy she made it out of there as well. Y'all, they just stopped giving updates on NBC News. They just stopped. Washington Post going to give us anything? No. These old filings. It's just so aggravating. I don't think it should be allowed. Okay, let's put up this defense exhibit. So this is one of their exhibits. So this isn't the summary chart. Cassie writes, "I'm so aroused I can't concentrate. I'm going to Dwayne Reed. Pack us a bag." Did you include this in your little chart? No, I didn't, because I'm trying to prove certain elements like interstate commerce and prostitution. Why would I include a text message? She don't say what. She has no idea when this is from, where this is from. Just a random text message from some random time. It's like being like, you know, the inflation rate. Did you put the inflation rate in your chart? No, because it's what's that word I'm looking for? Irrelevant. Cassie was a willing participant sometimes. She admitted this. This isn't news. This isn't a gotcha. This is not the gotcha you think it is, Teeny Ann. It's not. This isn't news. Cassie and Jane both said they did many freak-offs consensually in the early parts of their relationship. So if you're bringing up something from 2009, okay, why would that be in the racketeering? Why would that be in the sex trafficking charts? It's been admitted to, stupid. The woman is stupid. I used to think she was only just infested with demons, but I think she might also have a cognitive impairment. Truly. Truly. Loyola Law School. Right. That just goes to show you the nepotism as well, because you don't get to do these trials and not having gone to like a really good law school, like a top one. And look, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. Don't shoot the messenger. But you don't get to go to this type of level with a Loyola law degree, okay? Unless there's something else afoot, like your daddy being a real powerful lawyer. And I mean, god dang, she couldn't get into, even Tiffany Trump could get into, what was it called? Georgetown. I mean, you at least got to go to a top 20. Not if you're a Garagos. They just put you on anything. They just put you on anything. You don't have to actually have proven yourself like that. Okay, here, Teeny goes. Jules writes to Diddy, I need rest. You guys are rabbits. Okay, so the escort's writing to Diddy, I need a rest. Y'all are rabbits. Okay, and here, Pop, that's Diddy's name for Cassie. Had to call him Pop. What? Pop writes to Cassie, I love you so much. You consume my life. How did this happen? And Cassie says, I wonder that too. Didn't she say that? The lady's like, yeah. I'm looking up Juror 7 stuff. See, nothing's being reported on that. Like 17 hours, 15 hours. Cecilia said, I have a different theory. He hates women because of his mother. Listen, I have an open mind to it. I have an open mind to the theories, y'all. Thanks so much to Miss Sheila for the $10 super chat. Thank you for all your hard work on this case. I appreciate you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Donna Blackwell, for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Kel on Earth, for the $2 super chat. Got out of Katrina. Her sister Rita got me. That was a bad one. Shout out to Denmark in the chat. Thank you for the 17 Denmark dollar. Seeing you every day. Heart. Shout out to Denmark. Thank you, Kellyanne Powell. I've been watching every day. I'm in Arrivals waiting for my daughter. And you're with cousin. Big love from England. Shout out to England. Thank you so much for the 20 pounds, Kelly. Maybe it's demons. I mean, I don't know. I can only guess. We have an update from NBC. Finally, something. Okay. Defense picks at details. There's all there's left to do. Whenever you don't have a case, you have to pick at details. You have to. Because when you don't have a case, it isn't he didn't do it. It's Why didn't you say there was a text message where she liked him one time? Tina Garrios took up cross-examination of Penland, who reviewed evidence presented in charts by the government. Tina Garrios nitpicked at different parts of the evidence charts, noting that some sections were lacking some things that she thought should go in there. Some dates of hotel meetings between Diddy and escorts didn't have Cassie's name listed. She pointed out as one potential inaccuracy. But the special agent testified that there were many times when another person was present, but didn't have the evidence to put their name in the chart. Penland said they did not have the name of every single person for every single potential gathering. We don't have every name of every person at gatherings. Okay, Teeny, it's just I'm putting in here what I have evidence for. I don't know if you missed it. I don't know if you were shopping for a BMW or whatever. I don't know if you were what you were doing over there. I don't know if you were swiping on Hinge. It's really unclear to me. But the stuff in the chart, Teeny, is stuff that has evidence. Okay. So I'm not going to put somebody's name in here if there's no flight log, flight record, hotel record. It's like very elementary. That's why I had to look up where she went to law school, if she even graduated, because it's like, come on. There's vigorous, like zealous advocacy, and then there's bad faith arguments, and then there's just you stupid. I'm concerned for Teeny as far as which one it might fall into. Certainly possessed by demons like her daddy. It's generational. I rebuke. Why my bell ain't ringing right today? There we go. I want a giant bell, like a Liberty Bell, but with no crack. Apparently they like melted a lot of them down and I don't know more. We've got to remake them. ThatSurpriseWitness@gmail.com if y'all know where I can get a really big bell like the Liberty Bell. If you got one laying around, I'll come pick it up. Yeah, I want one with no crack. I want one with no crack. There's nothing else. Six the truth. I'm trying. Like I don't know what y'all want me to do. There's nothing else here. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Oh, everybody must have fell asleep. Everybody's just ready for Brendan Paul to come, I guess. I certainly am. I'm on the edge of my seat. Waiting for Brendan. How much longer could Teeny really be here? Like, pop, pop. Y'all, even the GPT, even the AstroTurf GPT account says loving or playful texts don't cancel out abuse. I mean, even the robots get it. In coercive dynamics, affection can exist with fear. Trauma bonds are real. I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. Hold on, I might be able to show y'all something. Hold on a second. I'm working on something, a surprise for y'all. Give me like 30 seconds. Okay. Let me let that marinate over there for a second. No, It's not a bot because you spell bad. Actually, in fact, like if somebody spells bad, it's usually an indicator for me on the side of the scale that they're not a bot. Usually bots are not going to be spelling wrong, but you know, sometimes they do. No, it's that like I've now had the occasion to like talk to Chat GPT here and there for different things. And I kind of have a good instinct now for how it speaks, like the language structure, the way that it presents information, the way that it does topicalization. Again, this is all from just like linguistics. And of course, like I don't know anything for sure more than the next person. This could be like a person, but like it appears to me that account uses Chat GPT to or Grok or whatever to generate the language of the tweets. Now maybe the ideas behind the tweets are coming from a human, but it just looks like the language sentence structure of like one of those language learning models generating it. Okay, so here Pop we got a new tweet. Writes to Cassie, I love you so much. You consume my life. How did this happen? And then Cassie says, I wonder that too. Didn't she say that? Yeah. And here, the escort writes to Cassie, great to see you, beautiful. And then he says, I'm at your door. Isn't that right? Yeah. And here, Cassie writes, I'm aroused and bored. Doesn't she? Yeah. What does any of this have to do with anything? Is Teeny going to address the 5011 calls from March 5th to March 6th, 2016? Is she going to address that her client lied and said the cops were there to arrest him? Is she going to address that her client beat the hell out of Cassie Ventura? No. She just wants to show that one time Cassie texted an escort. Something Cassie already testified to. Okay, this isn't new. This isn't new. Okay. This is Mac Fleshpot 836. I need to start putting my little products in there. Not sponsored, girl. I bought that with my own money. I bought 2 of them on accident. But this is an old Mac color. It's like one of those concealer lips colors. But if you're my color, it's almost like real lipstick. See-through. I like this one, I think, more, though. This one's called Cream Cup. It's like pinker. 832. 832, Cream Cup, 836, Flesh Pot. Anyway. Yeah, like Billy Jr., she's going to ignore that too. She's going to ignore that her client paid for the video to be removed and hidden. It's just crazy. Carmen said, that's crazy. I was just thinking about the lipstick. Well, I got my antennas on today, so maybe the psychic's working a little better today than yesterday. Rachel said she has a prediction. The defense is just going to read texts the whole time they're on next week. Okay. We have another new update, thank God. NBC News 1 minute ago. Texts show Diddy and Cassie routinely checked calendars for freak-off dates. In its ongoing bid to prove freak-offs were consensual acts, the defense read through texts that show Diddy and Cassie routinely exchanging dates for their next rendezvous. It can be any date you choose. Diddy texted on August 5th, 2009. In one text, Cassie responded that Friday would work best for her, so she could have the rest of the week to physically recover ahead of the next work week. But Cassie added that if they couldn't make their schedules work for the weekend of August 7th through 9th, then she could be free again on the August 28th. Teeny Garagos showed a text from Cassie to Diddy on August 7th when she appears to tell her, who is she? Who is her? She and her are female pronouns, but we have Diddy listed here, so I'm confused. The defense showed a text from Cassie to Diddy August 7th when she appears to tell, I guess, him she's looking forward to performing a certain act. 2 minutes ago, CNN.com, on cross-examination of special agent, Teeny Garagos focuses on what's not included in the government's summary chart. And it is very stupid because this has already been argued about with the judge and everything. Like, it's really just like flight logs. It's really just flight logs and freak off tapes, girl. And some texts. There's all those texts too. And call logs. Like KK calling Cassie, KK calling Diddy, Cassie calling KK, Cassie texting KK, D-Rock texting Cassie, Cassie texting D-Rock, D-Rock calling Cassie, Cassie calling D-Rock. I mean, all of that. But this is 7 years before. That happened in 2016. We're talking about 2009. So why is Teeny Garagos so lost in the woods? It's like you haven't watched like somebody playing in the sandbox or something through the two-way glass. It's like patting her on the head like, okay, Teeny, you really tried, girl. Put Nicole Westmoreland back up here, somebody. I know Teeny Garagos is never going to ever forget hearing that. How many millions of people have said, can we get rid of this Teeny and put Nicole Westmoreland back up? Because they both going to hell to me. They both going to hell, in my opinion. But at least Nicole is like, she kind of knows what she's doing as a lawyer. Anyway, on cross-examination, Teeny Garagos questioned this special agent on lists of individuals associated with the meetings in the charts. She said there could have been other people present, but, quote, if I did not have the evidence, their name is not in the chart, Teeny, because if I would have put their name in the chart, you would have said, why did you think they were there? And I didn't have the evidence. So I'm obviously not going to put the name in the chart if I don't have the evidence for it. Quote, it does not have the name of every potential person at the gatherings. Actually, if you want to get into the tentative list, we could do that too, Teeny, but I don't think you really want to. Teeny Garagos read a series of messages between Diddy and Cassie from different points in time when Cassie wrote sexually explicit messages. So I think they're just trying to, you know what, shame Cassie again, like because she was aroused sexually one time in her life and sent a sexual text message. That must mean she was asking to be abused and beat. It must just mean she was like asking to be abused and beat. After reading each message, Teeny Garagos then asked the special agent to confirm the message wasn't included in the government summary chart. I really want to have blah, blah, blah 4 years earlier, 7 years ago, a 7-year-old text, a 7-year-old text. That text wasn't in your chart, was it? No. Some of the messages that Teeny flagged were dated around the time of the meetings between Diddy, Cassie, and escorts that are listed on the chart. Okay, so some of them were. Some of them were dated around that time. Okay, well, it's called a summary chart, Teeny. I don't really know what to tell you. The whole point is you're not supposed to include every single text message in it. Okay. So the most recent tweet that we read from Inner City Press was Cassie writing, I'm hungry. Oh, sorry, not hungry, girl. Aroused and bored. Yeah, okay. So the next one here, Diddy says to Cassie, I'm not asking you to freak off. What do you want to do? And she said, I want to smoke, go for a walk. Let's go out, have some carefree fun. I'll go get the Valium, right? Yeah. What does that have to do with anything? If anything, it shows more substances. Another substance enters the chat. I'm just sick of these gaslighters. And now I know why Diddy was blowing up KK's phone trying to get Teeny's number, because Teeny will do anything. She's the one saying she's so honored. Okay. So this is more of the same, but it's more details from CNN.com. On cross-examination of a special agent, defense focuses on what's not included in the government summary chart. On cross-examination, she questioned the special agent on the lists of individuals associated with the meetings in the chart. She said there could have been other people, but I didn't have the evidence. Their name's not in the chart. Oh, we already read this. It doesn't have the name for every potential person After reading, I think they just updated this to make it longer. After reading each message, Teeny then asked the special agent to confirm that the message wasn't actually in the government chart. Some of the messages were dated around the time of the meetings. She pointed to a meeting in late July 2012 that listed Cassie's name, but not Diddy's on the summary chart. The special agent confirmed she didn't see any messages between Diddy and Cassie related to that meeting. But she did see messages between Cassie and a contact called Islander LA in that conversation. Cassie asked if he was available and told him to come as soon as he could because she had a flight to catch. So Cassie hooked up with somebody one time? Okay. Breaking Kanye West news. Yay, yay. Will now have a seat in the courtroom. Report. This is on the independent.com. Yay, yay, aka Kanye West, will now have a seat near Diddy's family and friends if he chooses to go to federal court to support the music mogul in his trial. He showed up to the trial on Friday, but he was denied entry into the courtroom because he was not on the list of approved people to sit in the reserved 2 benches for Diddy's family and friends. But he has now been added to the list. 2 sources with knowledge of the document of Diddy's approved guests told Business Insider. It's unclear if Yay Yay plans to attend any more of the trial. I think he will. I think he's going to come to another day of the trial. I think he wanted to sit in front of the jury and have the jury see him. And I did. That was one of the 2 videos I made yesterday, other than the live that I did. It was the honey. You know, I have a whole theory as to what it is that Yay Yay is really doing up there at the courthouse. Y'all can go check that one out. 2 minutes ago, Washington Post, Shayna Jacobs said the defense is trying to undermine the testimony of the special agent by suggesting her timelines of texts left out important context about their relationship. In raunchy text messages shown to the special agent during cross-examination, Cassie expressed enthusiasm for aspects of her FOs with Diddy and various male escorts. Now, Teeny and them have argued that Cassie was a willing player in these elaborate SUL episodes, which involved the copious amounts of baby oil, candles, substances, and alcohol, and outside participants. Often they lasted for days. According to evidence at the trial, Diddy had freak-offs with various women, including Cassie, one of his longtime regular girlfriends. Cameron said, go listen to Bound 2 by Kanye. He talks about the honey. Okay, I'm going to look up the lyrics. I don't want to get copyright. Oh, he does say honey. Stop. Oh my God, stop. Mercedes said Brendan just arrived. Oh my God. Nosy Neighbor, thank you for the $5. It's obvious they're stalling, attempting to bore and make the jury forget. Love from Shimmy Shimmy, no Cocoa Puff. There you go. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Here's those lyrics. It does say some stuff about honey in it, y'all. Bound to fall in love. Honey. All them other people lame, and you know it now. When a real one hold you down, all right, you supposed to drown. Okay, where's the honey? Bound to fall in love. Honey. What you doing in the club on a Thursday? She said she's only here for her girl's birthday. Uh-oh. Is this a song about Jane? They ordered champagne. They still look thirsty. Rock Forever 21, but just turned 30. Who's this about? I know I got a bad reputation. Walking around, always mad reputation. Leaving pretty girl sad reputation. Start a fight club. Brad reputation? Oh, Brad. Oh, that's cute. That's a good. Okay, I see. Turn the nightclub out of the basement. I'll turn the plane round. Keep complaining. How you gonna be mad on vacation? How you gonna be mad on vacation? Around all these Jamaicans, this, that prom stuff. This what we do. Don't tell your mom. Red cup, lawn stuff, fresh cut, straight out the salon. At least I got here. I know you're tired of loving. Where's the honey? It's right here. With nobody to love nobody. Honey. Bound to fall in love. Honey. Ew. Ew, nasty. Okay, yeah. I'm tired. You tired. Honey. Jesus wept. Stop. Stop. Okay. Diddy writes, I liked it when Jules was in the room next door. Did you include this in your text exchanges? She said, no, Teeny, that wasn't my job. My job wasn't to include stuff. I was just supposed to check. I'm the fact checker, bitch. Don't ask me why stuff's not in there. You ask them. I will say Teeny does have one really good skill. She does never, usually doesn't address when people pop off back at her, ask a question. Actually, usually doesn't address it unless it's just to be like, sometimes she'll be like, please just answer the question. The special agent said, ma'am, that wasn't my job. I don't know if you are confused. I don't know if you never really got a law degree. It's very confusing to me how it could be confusing to you. That's not my job. You think I sat here and made this freaking chart, you stupid ass? No. This was my job. I'm the fact checker. They gave it to me and said, can you confirm everything on this chart is what it appears to be? Make sure non-biased, somebody not involved in the investigation. Did this person fly here? Did this Amex get swiped for $46,000 for damage? I think that they should object to this line of questioning. I don't know. Maybe they are. She said, that wasn't my job to add things. I was just supposed to check to see if what was in it was correct. Next question. Diddy writes, you aroused or sleepy? And she said both, LOL. Just take your freaking lick, Diddy. Just go to jail at this point. Again, y'all, I'm saying it right now. June 17th, 2025, Tuesday, June 17th, 12:09. I don't think Diddy's going to be going to jail. I think he's not going to be found guilty because I think this jury is suspicious, frankly. I hope I'm wrong, y'all. I would not be happier to be wrong, okay? Could not be happier if it turns out to be wrong. Tiki Lemon, thank you for the $5. R. Kelly was convicted of racketeering by the New York federal government. Is it the Southern District? Would love to see you compare the cases. Lots of similarities. Could give insight into Diddy's outcome. Could. Thank you for that $5. I've avoided looking into it. You know what? I kind of want to watch. Maybe I can convince my fiance to watch that with me again. Surviving R. Kelly, knowing everything I know now, it would be interesting, I think, to watch it again. Oh my God, Lori, you're funny. I have some cousins that went to MSU, I think. Thank you to Sarah for the $1.99 super chat. Love the antennas. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Lori said, look up MSU cowbells. That's all you need. No. I do not want an MSU cowbell. Tiger bait. No, I want a big one. One that's big enough to if I could hide under it. You know, a really big, literally a Liberty Bell size, one with no crack. That's what I want. MSU cowbell. Those are funny. They ring them in the stadium and ring them. And ding, ding, ding. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Nikki Marie said, I don't think he's going to be found guilty either. The jury and the defense are all corrupt. Yup. Gloria, this is true though. Every dog does have its day. And just because the criminal justice system don't get people, karma always comes back around. You cannot put something out into the world without it coming back. I probably got the Portuguese cousins. You know, I got Spanish in my bloodline back up the chart. So that's like probably, you know, before borders or whatever. We probably cousins already. Shout out to Portugal. Go Pigs. Yeah, I know, Maggie. Like you said, she too slow to fire back. Read questions from the paper, cash that check, get new bag. Exactly. Yeah. Teeny's like, hey, look over here to distract the jurors from the facts. I do have faith in jurors. Like, I do have faith that, like, if it's like legit jurors, then they usually, I think, like, try to do a good job. Something about being in the court, you want to take it serious. But if it's like a tainted juror or somebody that's somehow managed to eke in and they already had their mind made up, what are you going to do? Okay, let's shut off the public screens and show these videos. Okay, so they're going to show some freak off videos. Okay, the judge said it's done. Jurors put on headphones. Everyone, and the judge says, everyone, hear some soothing piano music. I don't know if they're actually playing that. Usually I think they're doing white noise or nothing. So she's playing something and the screens are turned off to the jury. Excuse me, not the jury. The screens are turned off to the public in the gallery. And so I think this is freak off tapes because those were shown yesterday for the first time, apparently, in the entire trial. I'm looking forward to Brendan Paul coming up, but I'm also looking forward to finding out about Juror 7. Like, I'm nosy. Okay, I want to know. So here's 1 minute ago. Look at the drawing we get. This is the special agent. This is, I think, Madison Smizer. Diddy to Cassie, Diddy to Cassie, Diddy to Cassie. Call now. I'm getting arrested. And here's Cassie, the selfies she took. Quote, I had a great time with you this weekend. Thank you. Diddy wrote to Cassie in a message shown to the special agent. Me too. I love you. I miss you, Cassie wrote back. The defense is trying to highlight another side of the violent and turbulent relationship between Diddy and Cassie. One that allows for the possibility Cassie consented to these group SEX episodes. But what about, you know, when she tried to leave, she got beat, Teeny. I would like to see you address that aspect of it because I don't think it has been addressed. Despite prosecutors' claims. Okay, so while Diddy's lawyers have conceded he was physically abusive, they have also argued the federal charges he faces don't apply because Cassie and other victims were voluntary participants in the debaucherous freak-offs. And all of the alleged victims, or both of the alleged victims so far, have said that. Sometimes they were voluntarily doing them, but it ended up turning into something that they couldn't say no to. Less than a minute ago, Teeny Garagos reviews Cassie's freak-off messages with Diddy. Okay, so she's reviewing the messages between Diddy and Cassie about freak-offs. Teeny Garagos is reviewing messages previously entered into evidence in which Cassie expresses that she wants to freak off or discusses planning freak-offs with Diddy. And this is nothing new. The government also included this in their summary charts of Cassie talking to freak-off participants. It's nothing new. Diddy called Cassie 5 more times in the next half hour, 5 times in 30 minutes, but none of the calls were answered. Then KK also called Cassie once during that period of time, and that call also Cassie didn't answer. The special agent has responded each time that she's not involved with the case, and she only reviewed the materials provided by prosecutors to ensure that the charts were accurate. Her whole job is like, are these charts accurate? And instead of Teeny Garagos trying to show that something in the chart is inaccurate, she's just like, well, why didn't you put this in there? And the lady's like, I didn't make this chart. Okay, fine. Why didn't you put this in there? I didn't make the chart. Well, why didn't you put this in there? Because I didn't make the chart. It's like that over and over again. She's so aggravating. And y'all, if you remember when we started the coverage of this trial, I was like, 60% against Diddy, but I was like 40% like he deserves the right to a fair trial. He deserves the right to, and I still believe that, 100% believe that. But like, this is the defense they're coming with? Ooh, ooh. It's not giving. In fact, it's taking. Oof. Listen, I'll tell you one thing. I wouldn't want Teeny Garagos' job. I would say, hell no. No. Sorry, no. Mm-mm. No. Still waiting for some updates. Yeah, what is their defense? Why isn't Mark on the team, Mark Garagos officially? Because he wanted to run PR on TMZ or what? Thanks so much to Walkin' Dreamer for the $5 super chat. So, question, if he gets a not guilty, he can't be charged again? No, that would be double jeopardy. He cannot be charged again. And he cannot be charged for anything that the government already knew about. So anything they already have evidence for and they decided, not to charge him, they can't use that same evidence to try to charge him with something else. It's just double jeopardy. No, you can't do that. You had your one shot. You can't do that. Now, if it comes up later, a new victim comes forward or something like that, they could charge him for, abuse. They could charge him for DV. They could charge him for something like that. But if, that's a big if, I'm not saying someone would, they could charge him for new crimes, but it's going to be pretty difficult to charge him for new crimes that fall within 2004 to 2024, because they've kind of like wrapped up everything he's ever done, within it. So short answer, it depends. And I don't really know, but generally, no, they can't charge you again with something once you get, acquitted, or once you get proven not guilty. Like once you are found not guilty by a jury, you cannot be charged in the United States of America for the same crimes again, or the same actions that underlied that first crime. Thank you for the $5. Thank you, Appalachian Unicorn, aka Aaron, for the $2 super chat. Bound was song with Kim riding naked on the bike. Oh, okay. Interesting. Kim Kardashian. Thanks so much for that $2. Thank you, Guava Berry, for the $4.99. This is a summary witness that verified the messages in the chart with documents. What are all these questions and tapes for? Girl, I'm wondering. It seems strange to me. Thank you for that $4.99. Okay, we got a new update here. Thank God. 3 minutes ago, NBC News. Agent pushes back on the defense's questions over lack of Cassie text in the evidence chart. Tina Garagos continued to point out loving texts between Diddy and Cassie that were missing in the prosecution's chart, but the special agent on the stand resisted. Tina Garagos continued to review texts from Cassie that appeared to be loving and encouraging of freak-offs, noting their absence from the government's evidence presentation. But then Penland told the court that her job wasn't to add anything to the government's presentation. Her job was to review the stuff that they actually did include. The chart was based on evidence showing who was at specific gatherings and locations. Tina Garagos then pointed to a date on which the chart doesn't show Diddy's name to indicate he was present at a specific gathering. They are showing video, but not to the public. Kanye West is going to have a seat in a courtroom. On the Diddy family row. Shout out to B&M Super for becoming a member. Teeny is doing it. Walking Dreamer, thank you for the $1.99. Teeny is doing it to get that info out. Yeah, I mean, girl, the info was out already. She already had Cassie read these text messages or whoever. Thank you for the $1.99. Walking Dreamer. Shout out to Danae McIntyre, Portuguese cousin here. Love listening to your coverage, girl. Thank you for that $4.99, Danae. CMT said, check out the lyrics from Cassandra T. Swift, given what she's possibly known about Kanye and Bieber. Wait, I'm not really a Swiftie like that, y'all. Let me see. Cassandra by Taylor Swift lyrics. I didn't even know that was a song. This is Taylor Swift and Aaron Dessner. One thing I'll give Taylor Swift, she is a songwriter. She does be writing these songs. Allegedly. I mean, they give her credit for it anyway. I was in my new house placing daydreams, patching up crack along the wall, pass it and lose track of what I'm saying because that's where I was when I got the call. When the first stone's thrown, there's screaming in the streets. There's a raging riot. When it's burn the bee, they're shrieking. When the truth comes out, it's quiet. So they killed Cassandra first because she feared the worst and tried to tell the town. They filled my cell with snakes, I regret to say. Oh, she's being witch trialed? Is that what's going on? Do you believe me now? I was in my tower weaving nightmares, twisting all my smiles into snarls. They say, what doesn't kill you makes you aware. What happens if it becomes who you are? So they killed Cassandra first because she feared the worst. They tried to tell the town. They knew the whole time that I was onto something. The family, the pure greed, the Christian chorus line. They all said nothing, blood's thick, but nothing like payroll. Oh, that's a good one. Girl, she got bars. Bet they never spared a prayer for my soul. You can mark my words that I said it first in a morning warning no one heard. I patched up the crack along the wall. I pass it and lose track of what I'm saying because that's where I was told that's where I was when I lost it all. So they killed Cassandra first. She feared the worst, tried to tell the town. They filled my cell with snakes. I regret to say, do you believe me now? I was onto something. They all said nothing. Blood's thick, not like a payroll. That's a good one. They never spared a prayer for my soul. Mark my words. I said it first. Morning warning. No one heard. Okay, that's all fine and good, T Swift. But you didn't say nothing first. You didn't say shit because this don't look like what you trying to say. Say it if you got to say it, girl. Because you didn't say nothing first. Mark my words. You didn't say nothing. You wrote a song about the witch trials. If you had something to say, you should have said it. And if she had something to say and didn't say it, then she's just as guilty. Thank you for the $4.99. Thank you, Appalachian Unicorn, aka Aaron, becoming a member. She didn't say nothing. She said nothing. Song is about a Kardashian, allegedly. Well, listen. Like I said, I'm not a Swiftie like that. I will give credit where it's due. The girl can write a song. She can pack a stadium. She can do all that. She been knowing stuff and been writing it in these cryptic witch trial songs, and she hadn't been saying nothing. Oh, it's about a Kardashian. Well, she should have said that. She should have said this song is about a Kardashian. Please. Not like she's not the most powerful person in the music industry or anything. Like she can get away with anything and she don't even say nothing. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, so we get another tweet. She ain't say nothing. She ain't say shit. Pop stars are all mean girls. That's how they get to the top. Okay, we got another tweet. Look, jurors are still watching videos with headphones on. For the record, Ms. Foster has put it on. Okay. The jurors are still watching videos with headphones on. And Teeny Garagos says, for the record, the feds have put it on until minute 14. Oh, there's a new verdict in the Karen Reed trial. And Inner City Press is going to be covering the case tonight on a podcast. Did I share it? I thought I did. There we go. So they're still just watching and watching and watching. I don't know what they watching. They just watching minutes and minutes of freak offs. Okay, this says 1 minute ago, but I think we might have already read it. They might have just done the thing CNN does where they add stuff. Defense reviews Cassie's freak off messages with Diddy, reviewing messages previously entered into evidence. So these were already entered into evidence. I don't know why we got to read them again. She asked Delessa Penland, a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office, whether she reviewed the entries in the government summary charts to ensure there was complete message threads, including in the chart pertaining to the gatherings between Diddy, Cassie, and an escort. And then the special agent responded each time she's not involved with the case. She only reviewed what the prosecutors gave her to ensure that the charts were accurate based on underlying source documents they provided to her. Just now, Shayna Jacobs from Washington Post gives us a little bit of more information about what's going on in the courtroom right now. Defense lawyer Teeny Garagos is playing sexually explicit footage for the jury as she cross-examines Special Agent Delessa Penland and tries to suggest that Cassie and Diddy had a more complicated relationship than the prosecution contends. The public is not able to see or hear the freak-off footage played during trial, so it's unclear exactly what the jury is seeing. Deanna said, it looks like Teeny just really wants to watch freak offs. Seems like it. Probably Diddy being like, play a lot of them in the court today so I can watch them later. Carlos said the defense is doing nothing but wasting time. They're just sitting there watching freak offs. Defense highlights loving messages. This is theindependent.com between Cassie and Diddy. Teeny brought up multiple text messages between Diddy and Cassie, showing the other side of their relationship, a more loving and fun side that Cassie said would occasionally peek through. In one text message, Diddy thanked Cassie for a great time. Girl. In another, Cassie tells Diddy she loves him and misses him. Both exchanged many text messages about having freak-offs together and coordinating times to do so. Teeny Garagos has asked Penland why these text messages were not included in the government's timeline. She reminded the attorneys that she wasn't part of the investigation, and her role was to review evidence for the government, not add anything in. Yeah, no, I think the whole relationship is also a PR stunt. I truly do. Let's go check the docket. Not that I think anything will get posted, but sometimes stuff pops up. Nothing new. Nothing new. Yeah, the alternates are in there right next to the jury, I think, y'all. They're like right there, seeing the same stuff as the jury. Thanks so much to It's Kim. Shout out to It's Kim in the chat. She has really been working hard, y'all. She's been filling in for Andy. While he's been away, she has her own channel too, and she is in my chat many times a day, educating. Shout out to It's Kim. Taylor wrote Cassandra after what happened between her and Kanye and the Kardashians. She is comparing herself to Greek mythology, Cassandra. Oh, a Trojan princess who was given the gift of prophecy. Oh, girl, well, I got that one too. I didn't know I'm a Cassandra too, girl. Okay, I see. So that makes more sense. It's more of an allegory. Thank you for the $10 Canadian, Kim. It's more of an allegory, perhaps. This is all supposed, right? Because she doesn't like confirm it in there, but she's trying to warn about Kanye, the gift of prophecy. Huh. Interesting. Everyone, when Britney Spears said this at her trial, or at her hearing that one time, whenever she was talking, speaking, Britney speaks, she said, I don't even believe in therapy. I think you should take it to God. When she said that, I was kind of like, ugh, like maybe you need to go to therapy, girl. But whenever all the therapists you've been to have been working for your owners, your captors, I could understand why Brittany was thinking that. Like, because some of these therapists don't, and doctors, psychiatrists, whatever, don't like uphold their oath they take. The Hippocratic oath. Shout out to It's Kim again for the $5 super chat. $5 Canadian. When Taylor refers to herself as Cassandra, she's saying that she knew. She knew that Kanye and Kardashians were trouble and no one believed her. Thank you for that $5. Well, when you put it that way, I mean, I hope that's what she was saying. I hope so. But I needed a whole, two super chat explainer to get that from that. Oh, Sarah said she sent me an email, TMZ article, the defense issues. Ooh, okay, let me go pull that email up. Hold on. I got a buzz in my mouth from that pen or something. Okay. Apparently there's an update. Thank you, Sarah, for the £2 and for the update. Let me go check it. Okay. Here we go. Thank you so much for that £2. Okay, this is from yesterday. New juror issue arises in Diddy trial. Judge worried he's talking about the case. This was a new title. This wasn't always the title. Let me go to the Wayback Machine. It was like Judge worried he's blabbering. It was like a different. Oh, not Brian Bieber, girl. It was a different title yesterday. I made a video about it. And I did not feel good yesterday either. Girl. Yeah, they freaking changed the title of it. Hold on, let me go to my video because I had it on there. Or maybe it's in my pictures. Give me a second. I'll have to go to my own lives. They changed the title of it. And when you change the title, it changes the URL and you can't look up the case anymore on the Wayback Machine. Harvey Levin's been at this a while. I can tell you that. Let me go to my channel. Hold on. There's a juror. Another juror. Where exactly he was. Look, this is what it was yesterday. See, same, published June 16th, 9:28 a.m. Diddy trial. Juror gets mysterious text. Judge worried he's blabbing. And then here's a different one. New juror issue arises in Diddy trial. Judge worried he's talking about case. See, it used to be juror gets mysterious text. Judge worried he's blabbering. And look, exclusive or blabbing. Because it's the same article. Look. Diddy trial is on the verge of another jury shakeup due to one of them getting a strange text message, right? That's the first sentence. Diddy trial is on the verge of another shakeup. Diddy trial is on the verge of another jury shakeup due to one of them getting a strange text message. So it's the same article. They changed the title so that you can't trace it on the way back, because when you type in that URL now on the Wayback Machine, nothing shows up. Now, I do think I sent the article to somebody. Let me see. Yep. Interesting. Okay, sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ. The juror alerted the court on Friday. So this, I think, is what the judge is so mad about. The sources with direct knowledge telling TMZ. Juror alerted the court on Friday about the text message from a phone number he didn't recognize, asking him if he was juror 6. The judge already dismissed juror 6 now at the time of the reading of this article on June 17th. Okay. We're told this other juror wanted the judge to know about the mystery text. And indeed, the judge did have a lot of questions for him about the message. The judge is pissed somebody told about this. Our sources say, although the juror said he didn't recognize the phone number, the judge has concerns he might be discussing the trial with people who are not on the jury, which obviously would be a major violation of the judge's instructions. Kind of like this article. These inside sources, major violation of the judge's instructions. While the judge has not sequestered the jury, they get to go home every day. They've all been instructed not to discuss the case with anyone or to read any news about it. Yesterday morning, right after the judge dismissed juror 6 over inconsistencies with where he lives, the judge said he would deal with this other juror issue after Monday's testimony, which he did not do. Someone's getting called to the principal's office, and when it's all said and done, there could be a second alternate juror. This got to be Diddy's team leaked this. I mean, that's just what I think. That's just what I believe. There's a new update 2 minutes ago from CNN. Jury watches videos from 2012 and 2014 showing Cassie doing freak-offs. The jury watched portions of a video that they viewed yesterday. It was recorded in October 2012. It's Cassie previously testifying that the video showed her and a man referred to as Dave or Islander, or I think this guy's writing a book. This is the Howard or whatever. I don't know, Charles something. They also watched portions of another freak-off video that was recorded the same day. And finally, they watched other portions of another video that was recorded October 20th, 2012. Cassie previously testified the video showed her and a man called Jules during a freak-off. And now, finally, they're now still watching portions of videos that were recorded in 2014. Okay, so October 14th, 2012, October 20th, 2012, so a week later, and then a couple months later, December. Seven minutes ago, NBC News, jury shown video blocked from public view. Jurors are wearing headphones and watching a video that was likely explicit footage, similar to what they were shown yesterday afternoon. While both the sound and actual footage were blocked from the courtroom audience's view, some sound from the headphones placed on the table could be picked up by microphones. The sound appeared to be of excited communications rather than routine conversations. So yeah, I'm sure that was a total accident. Somebody's lawyer just set it down right there on the table so that the headphones could play the loud freak-off sounds to everybody in the courtroom. Your Honor, should we take our break? How much longer do you have? She said, well, I have like about an hour. And the judge is like, okay, yeah, we should take the break because you're not really getting anywhere. I'm hungry. I got to pee, all that. Let's see if they're going to argue about anything first, though. Let's see if they're going to argue about anything because they always arguing about something. During the lunch break. Are they actually taking a break or are they going to argue? Because every single day they arguing about something first. Defense attorney Teeny Garrigo said she has less than an hour left in the cross-examination of Delessa Penland, a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office. So less than an hour left. Okay, thank God. I'm ready for Brendan. Testimony. Jurors watching freak-off footage. Jurors are currently watching sexually explicit. This is 3 minutes ago from The Independent. Footage from freak-offs. They're shielded from public view. They're watching portions of a video recorded in October 2012 that was also shown on Monday. They also watched another part of another video recorded the same month and year, and then they were shown footage filmed in December 2014. I guess the break is for real. Nothing else is being reported on. Okay. Well, make sure you're subscribed, y'all. I know a lot of people, somehow they just, they look to see, they thought they were subscribed and they're not, girl. I don't know how that happens. Make sure you are subscribed so you get those notifications, turn the little bell on and all that. I got y'all going over to Down the Rabbit Hole News for the lunch break. I'm going to take my lunch break and I will be back, let's say 1:30. Be back at 1:30. See y'all then. And then we can cover whatever they went over. We can cover whatever they went over in the lunch break if anything happened. Oh yeah, let me do this too. Any tips to the mods? Y'all want to leave the mods any tips? They are all of them have their, or most of them have their, I have their links below. Also, if the mods want to send any different new links, Monica, you can just send those to me. Those are linked below. And any tips that Diamond Rainbow gets will go to help feed abandoned cats. Okay. Well, what about, is it Oklahoma Outlaw getting the cats or is it, I'm confused where the cat money is going. But anyway, if y'all want to support the mods, the links are in the description box below. And I will see y'all in like 30 minutes or whatever. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.